I don't see their leader. Azza might know how best to draw him out. Best keep our lamps lit to avoid any raps getting the drop on us. Just gotta chill like someone paying my grave fee. That's DeVries' identification code. Damn. No coming back from that. Not a bad shortcut at all. There's the station now. Hope we didn't get any of that into our lungs. Probably best not to think about. Let's just get to the Vox. Glad you found those boots. Would have hated to end up like the poor fellow who had them before us. Now let's get on to the Vox. Rifts like this have been popping up all over the place since Horizon Point. They're harmless. So long as you keep your distance. That's right. A dismantling at this scale? Why, that could cause a cascade effect resulting in total deorbit of the whole Hyperion. The people she tried to kill just warmed over Order of Scientific Inquiry beliefs, Commander. That sounds like it could be her agent identification code, Commander. She ain't the only one. Yeah, imagine how we feel. Why don't you tell us where she is so we can make sure she ain't being a danger to herself or others? That ain't something you ought to be concerning yourself about, if you say so. You're the boss, Commander. I may be deluded, but you're lucky you ain't dead. Seeing how she seems partial to using her friends as victims, why don't you take a long look at me? This is all because she betrayed us, her team, her friends, even the one whose life she saved in Triangulum. She was fond of me? Then why? Why would she try to kill me? Know a little something about that, too. Everyone else heard that, right? Nicely handled, Commander. Lift should be here soon. Any minute now. Damn it! I swear if not for bad luck, we'd have none at all. That's enough raps for me, thanks. I'd like to have a word with whoever's in charge of maintenance around here. Right after we deal with these raps. If all that was some kind of universal test, hope this means we passed. Huh. A protectorate vestige. Guessing the cadre didn't make it then. Time to start poking around. We'll need all their armorial IDs to get in. Seems they died how they lived, in service to the Sovereign. Small comfort to the ones they left behind, I'd imagine. That wasn't so hard. Leaving out the part with the lift and the Raptidons and... You know what? Forget I said anything. Nice thinking, Commander. With luck, this'll make getting inside the Vox that much easier for us. Wouldn't have figured someone of your affiliation to get all misty-eyed over a bunch of dead protectorate. A lot of protectorate strung up there. Dead or dying slow. What in the void's going on here? I hope your loins are girded and your pearls pre-clutched. No telling what sinister deeds DeVries got up to in here. Huh. Appears our good brigadier is being guided by someone else's hand. You wager that influence is what pushed him over the edge? Check out that hole, Commander. Might be we can find ourselves a way in that avoids all the muster and bluster. Ah, a maintenance room. Now we're talking. This must be where they manage their automechs. I'd hazard a guess that these maintenance workers will be needed outside. Urgently and imminently. Hey, Commander, ain't that the symbol for Earth Directorate Special Operations? Must have been left by DeVries. Look there, another Earth Directorate symbol. We've got to be close. Putting traitors on display like that's one way to send a message. Can't be too good for morale, though. Cutting it close here. This can't be all there is. You sure we didn't miss something on the terminal? Pretty sure that shaking's a bad sign. Can't believe that actually worked. Finally, the control room. DeVries must have left some evidence behind. Let's poke around. Seen this before. All that pressure from trying to live perfect? Some subjects pop a lid. We should mind what we say unless we want this conversation to be real short. Can't hazard a guess as to presentation nowadays, but DeVries used to favor short jackets and cropped her hair to near shoulder length. She'd have blended in, most like. Reckon this line of inquiry's a dead end, Commander. He's obviously in the dark about DeVries. If we're taking on names, I prefer intrepid do-gooders myself. You've got a future writing serials if the whole agent thing don't work out. Always glad for the chance to put my training to good use. Now we know why Montelli locked the engines. He planned to crash the Vox into Fairfield. Maybe we can do something to change the trajectory on that control panel. We've got to try, right? That enhanced soldier Inez is still in Fairfield. Not to mention all those other folks. You got security called on you outside the skip labs? But wasn't DeVries already inside the skip labs at that point? Consciousness didn't seem to help you make good choices. Oh, you do care. Might have to get it in writing later. We're not protectorate. We're your ticket out of this hot box. Esculepe sent us. Aren't you forgetting something, Commander? Pen's unlocked, and we've already seen to the guards, so you should have a clear run. We need to focus on finding you a way out of this pen. Pen's unlocked, but maybe we ought to deal with the guards before you make a run for it. Or we could try sneaking around. If you're too hurt to walk, I'm sure the Commander and I could... You know your stuff, Commander. I was just about to point out the same problem. I have my doubts. Even if she managed to spark a few wires, that ship's bound to have a fire suppression system. It would kick in if there was any real ignition. Not blowing yourself up for starters. Throw a heart, Commander. Yes, Commander. Done. Won't go into the particulars, but you can trust that ship will blow the moment it hits orbit. I know what Audra said, but what if she's wrong? I can't help thinking we shouldn't leave without bloodying the Protectorate's nose first. Thank you, Commander. Yeah, you're probably right. Tempting as it be to watch that Sentinel fry. Thanks for helping me sort through it. Let's get back to Zeb. He still needs a cipher, and he'll want to hear about what happened with Audra. Good luck, Audra. What the Commander means is, good luck. Stay put. Shouldn't take me too long. Oh, the others don't look like they suffered easy deaths. What happened? It wouldn't. Even if she managed to spark a few wires, that ship's bound to have a fire suppression system. It would kick in if there was any real ignition. Now, hold on. Even if she managed to spark a few wires, that ship's bound to have a fire suppression system. It would kick in if there was any real ignition. Might be I could sabotage the transport from the outside. Make it look like negligent maintenance. What do you think, Commander? I can do what you're asking, with or without the Commander's permit. But you best be sure about this, Audra. I wouldn't say that around the order, but the Commander's right. Future's always in flux. I'm torn. On the one hand, Audra might be right. But when else are we going to have a chance to take out one of the Consul's lackeys and a Protectorate vessel in one go? Yeah, you're probably right. Tempting as it is, best not to chance it. Ain't about fun. Though sticking it to the Protectorate is my idea of a good time. I could still go through with our plan from before. Sabotage the transport, make it look like an accident. Wouldn't be hard. I hear what you're saying, Commander. Or maybe not. Are you saying we oughtn't take action? That Sentinel's not going to stop. She'll find new targets, new people to torture and kill. If we do nothing now, their blood will be on our hands. She was ready to fulminate herself before we talked her out of it. I'm just saying, maybe she ain't thinking so straight. Yeah, but it's not like we've ever let that stop us before. I've spent 10 years on the sidelines, watching people suffer, not being able to do a thing about it. We can do something here. So shouldn't we? Be serious, Commander. This isn't the time for jokes. Wager I know your answer, but what do you think we should do? Audra might be right, but when else are we going to have a chance to take out a Consul lackey and her vessel in one go? I hate it when you're right. Tempting as it be to watch that Sentinel fry, best not to risk the blowback. I appreciate you helping me sort this out. Thanks, Commander. I know the risks, but after what the Protectorate did here today, I'm not letting that Sentinel walk. Yeah, sorry about that. Guess the Commander here thought I needed some time off my feet. But not to worry, we're all good. At the risk of sounding glib, that ain't a good sign. Can't say the same for the trooper. See that thing in the sky there? That'll be the Vox relay, and that's why we're headed to Fairfield first. Less chance of us getting shot while picking up DeVries' trail. And that's Fairfield straight ahead. Less chance of us getting shot while picking up DeVries' trail if we head there first. That guard wasn't being ironical about the giant hologram over Town Hall. Well, guess we ought to go acquaint ourselves with that minister like she said. That must be the greenhouse. You know, one where that Emmeline is supposed to be moving stolen goods. Nothing says there's a new sheriff in town, quite like a giant hologram over the town hall. Maybe we ought to go and introduce ourselves. Watch out for that Auntie Cleo. I know she don't look it, but she's more dangerous than she seems. Even the whole of Spacer's Choice couldn't outmaneuver her. Look on the wall there, Commander. That's an Earth Directorate symbol. This has to have been DeVries' place. DeVries sure has some cheek putting the Earth Directorate symbol on her wall after everything she's done. You ever seen the one where the two fixers give a beatdown to that rabbit primal? That was us. Hey now, don't let the scratches fool you. Val here is in tip-top shape. Ain't that right, Val? Might not want to air that bit of pulp out in the open, Commander. Best not to ask. They ain't grown up with the right to dissent. Probably wouldn't even occur to them to turn down poison you told them to take it. With that hat? Absolutely not. Hey, Commander? Maybe we don't go airing our intimates to captured enemy soldiers. Earth Directorate's got folks everywhere this crook's about. Not implying you as such, but the sentiment bears voicing from time to time. I like this dream we're sharing, Commander. What? Oh, sure thing. The Commander here is an experienced Deadeye and a natural leader. If you're looking for someone to deposit a few pearls of wisdom, I guarantee you'll not find better. Come on, Commander. Don't tell me you're falling for this claptrap. Only thing that rift's doing is getting bigger and meaner. No apology needed, Commander. A lot of charlatans around these parts would sell you the air out of your lungs and call it a deal. Just looking out for you is all. You trying to convince me or yourself? Respectfully, Commander, I know that rift's gonna swallow us whole if something ain't done about it. That's enough for me. Calling an explosion warm don't make it any less hot. You know that gas leak's bad if the Protectorate are willing to accept our help to fix it. I mean, wouldn't it be just awful if we made it worse? Not sure going out of our way to help the Protectorate military is the right call, but what's done is done. Well, that should keep them occupied a while longer. I mean, oh no, what a crying shame. Not sure we should get any closer I can see the door, but ain't a way to reach it from here. Guess we'll have to take the long way round. Might be wise to give that large gas cloud a wide berth. Don't think there's anything to gain by getting near it. Standard Earth Directorate protocol calls for a thorough grid search of the premises, Commander. Those parts are bound to turn up somewhere. Of course you believe everything on the Aether Wave. I guess it would be stranger if you didn't swallow the propaganda, even if it does take some heavy, dramatic license. I can usually tell when a fella's up to something and that fella's up to something. Might be nothing serious, but we ought to poke around and find out what. Just in case. Wasn't Hogarth one of Milver Street's key subjects? Doubt a vigilant will sweeten to a corporate recruitment campaign, but I suppose it costs nothing to go and speak with him. Can't imagine why you think that. I've only been gone 4 years. Commander, please. We just got here. This is the doctor who patched me up after Horizon Point. I think I mentioned him before. You're missing the part where you get blown halfway to the void and back. In the Earth Directorate, we call it information gathering. Can't fault you for having doubts. But I have changed. I am changing. I know I let you down before, but give me a chance to earn back your trust. There must be something I can lend you a hand with. I know you haven't given up the fight. Reckon I've got this, Commander. No need to bring in the reserve just yet. You can't be serious. We're headed that way anyway. Sounds like a mission for 2 of the Earth Directorate's best. Don't you think, Commander? Not to worry. This is exactly the sort of thing we're trained to handle. Bring that boil down to a simmer, Zeb. This is my commander, one who was with me at Horizon Point. Would have been nice to have had this conversation before now, but no chambering a fired bullet. Zeb, this is the commander I told you about. One in charge of the Horizon Point mission. I know it, Commander. We all did the best we could on that mission. This is the doctor who patched me up after Horizon Point. I'm not adding color when I say he saved my life. But don't worry. He's not Protectorate anymore. You can trust him. Hang fire, Commander. Look, I'm not just here to gas you up with empty apologies. I want to set things right between us. Law, Commander. Now ain't the time. Good thing we know a doctor then. I knew something was wrong. What have you gotten yourself into here, Zeb? Howdy, Zeb. You look... Well, I didn't know. Didn't realize you would... I am. Without question. I ought to be flattered you think me capable of storming an entire facility on my lonesome. But that just ain't reality. There was nothing I could do, even if I wanted to. Reckon I like the sound of that. Until next time, then. I won't let you do this, Commander! What happened at the Vox was complicated. It'd take too long to explain, and we need to go rescue your friends. Don't we, Commander? We pulled Audra out before she got herself blown up for the cause, but we were too late to save the others. A Sentinel worked them over real bad. I'm sorry, Zeb. Ha ha! Good one, Commander. Only Audra was still alive when we got there, but she boarded that ship, Zeb. It was her plan to sabotage it, and she insisted on being on it when it blew. A Sentinel worked them over bad. Only Audra was still alive when we got there, and she was ready to blow herself up to take out that ship. Luckily, we found another way. This ain't the outcome anyone wanted, but at least we made the Protectorate hurt for it. The cipher is 02519W. Don't worry, Commander. I got this one. Never miss a cheap shot, do you? She said it was to stop the Protectorate from looking for her and finding you, or any of the rest of your friends. Way to see the tank half full there, Commander. Half this town is underwater and the rest soon to follow. Maybe instead of looking to those who left you to drown, it's time to accept an offered hand. One from Fairfield, maybe? Don't reckon Milver Street would be pleased if we abandon his plot and take up the enemy's cause. Maybe we should ask around before making a decision. They've got the bridge up. We'll have to drop it across the canyon. Bet we could sneak in there. Want to give it a try, Commander? If we can find a way to lower that bridge, we might be able to sneak across via the catwalk that's attached. Hear that? Those grinding gears are the sweet, sweet sound of victory. Shall we head on to the station? Were I a religious man, I might beg forgiveness from the universe. Void me. I might do it anyway. Wiping the place out is one way to get through. Probably my most preferred way. Up for a quick resupply before we hit the station? We're one step closer to DeVries. That wasn't so bad, was it? A mite tougher than I expected, but a triumph is a triumph. I always say we live, they die. Don't matter the how or why. Looks like we'll probably have to deal with those automechs if we want to lower the bridge from here. Ever feel that pull to jump when you're staring down from way up high? Not to worry, Val. I've got no plans on answering the Void's call today. Some folk are dead set on going their way, even if it's straight out an airlock. So we're tearing families apart now? Every time I think I'm going to start redeeming myself, we stumble upon a situation like this. Maybe I've just been kidding myself this whole time. Unless you're yearning for violence, I suggest you ease up on the candor there. God damn it! Inez didn't deserve that! What did she do apart from try to help us? Protest as you like, but Protectorate's got no authority over us. We'll go where we please. and thank you to steer clear. Hushing up, Commander. Wasn't my intention to overstep. A lot more folks are gonna die if we don't catch up to DeVries. We have to consider our options, even the ugly ones. If these folks are deserving, maybe it's worth it. If that was intended to be a mercy killing, I've got questions. Commander, stop. We're no different than DeVries if we start tossing our own to the Raps. I sure as law ain't gonna follow someone who can't see the wrong in it. I warned you. If this is how you plan to lead, then I'm out. Good luck staying ahead of the Protector without anyone watching your back. Time and place, Commander. Time and place. I seem to recall you messing with a Corbin over intercom back on Horizon Point. Try not to get us in trouble this time, huh? Didn't you talk to a Corbin over an intercom back on Horizon Point? Hopefully he's as accommodating as last time. Seems nowhere on Paradise Island's going untouched by this war. I'll take fighting Raps over living in a surveillance state any day of the week. Just me, or did Inez remind you of Helen? Tough like her. Shame she's with Auntie's choice. Great. First they're in the walls, now the ceilings. Protectorate sure wouldn't want this in the wrong hands, so it's probably exactly what Milver Street's after. Hate to be the bearer of bad news. You seem capable and all, but reckon your boss feels differently if he sent us. Sorry. Looks like that lab tech was trying to retrieve something from that terminal. Almost made it, too. Damn. No good deed, I suppose. Whatever went wrong here, I wager it's got to do with that red substance. Might be best we look and don't touch. These Auntie's soldiers seem twitchy to you? Might want to sneak our way in. Place is in shambles. What happened here? Typical Auntie's choice. Moving fast and breaking things. Foraging time's over. We should have what we need. Thank law. Don't know about you, but I'll be giving my uniform an extra wash cycle when we get back. Moral's the pity. Join the Earth Directorate, they said. See the galaxy. No one said anything about wrangling giant fungal growths. The grass could give us the cover we need. Unless you want to take a more direct approach. Big, dark cavern ahead. Seems likely we'll find crabbles hereabouts. Look at all those eggs. How fast do these things breed? Whoa. They weren't leaving population control to chance. Looks like they were bringing supplies in by water to set up in the middle of the nest. Clever. If it had worked out. No wonder the crabbles are out of control. What a senseless waste. Don't like the look of whatever that is. Rift, maybe? Careful. Any closer and we're like to regret it. Hey, check out that wall panel. Think it's running the turrets outside? You hear that? Sounds like a Dragoon tromping about. I don't fancy making its acquaintance. Ain't just the Dragoon to worry about. Those turrets will also put the hurt on us if we get too close. Always been curious about the kind of training that'll produce an Arbiter. Can't imagine it's pleasant. Bet Tristan have an idea on how to get past his door. I know this decision can't have been easy. But better to make a hard choice you can live with than an easy one you can't. Reckon it's too late for the intervention? Looks like some hands-on research going bad. And what am I supposed to do? Just stand around and look pretty? This place is giving me the collywobbles. Let's stay alert. Well, if I didn't need to scrub down before. I'm hearing voices coming from behind that door with the fancy queue outside it. Isn't that where we came in? Oh, this place is a maze, ain't it? For a monk, our friend's sure not short on amenities. I've heard the Order enjoys a good brain teaser, but this seems excessive. Hey, Commander. Ain't this the room the Anchoress has mentioned? Couldn't hurt to keep our lamps lit for that material they requested. Hold on, Commander. You heard the seer. We go any further, and those hostages are as good as minced. Shouldn't we go back to help? Bet we can get the ball rolling on this puzzle if we start that ball rolling. That sounded better in my head. Now that that's done with, we should hurry and pull whatever info we can from the seer's terminal. That don't seem like an easy life, but at least they're happy. I guess. Lay your oculars on this, Val. Don't the sight of the universe just fill your processor with wonderment? Couldn't have said it better myself. Could have swore we left Scrabbles back on the ship. Guess even members of the Order ain't immune to creature comforts. Not sure how a stuffed Sprat toy advances the grand plan. Guessing the safe is part of Wiley's puzzle. Odd how obvious he's made it. Law. I haven't encountered this much of a waste of time since I tried programming Val to understand sarcasm. We should return to the incognito. Get on over to the location of those peace talks. Doubt we'll beat DeVries there, but we ought to try. Not sure how much longer we can go on calling ourselves the good guys if we can't even be fussed to save innocent lives. Say, Commander, remind me again why we decided to let this one tag along? These were your colleagues. Can't you squeeze a little more sympathy out for them than that? Can't think of a better candidate for arbitration. Oh, okay. A bit slow-moving, but it's something. His shield's down. Now's our chance to take him out. Scheming from beyond the grave. Too bad we can't put this bastard in the ground a second time. Reckon the Order teaches this flair for the dramatic to all their seers? Or is he a special case? Well, well. Didn't figure you for a fan of, how did the censor put it? Immoderate depictions of intimate relationships. Which one's your favorite? Wait, don't answer that. It'll be more fun if I guess. Check out that junction box. Bet our N-ray scanner could be useful here. Huh. I'd have expected better cable management from the Order. This the Abbott's room? Are you busted in the head? Even if we couldn't save them, there was no reason to poke them yourself. That was the right call, but we've no time left to waste. Her shield's down. Now's our chance to take her out. Shit. Seems you were right to cut down Wiley. We best get back to the monastery. That snake. You think the Abbott's involved too? If he ain't, he's in for a rude awakening. We should get ourselves back to the monastery. Oh, yeah? And how'd she react? All right, what's the call, Commander? The Seer's already proven willing to kill for his cause. I think these folks aren't long for this world if we don't help. Right. The Seer and DeVries have to be stopped. Everything else comes second. The Seer was right about one thing. We wouldn't be very good Earth Directorate agents if we just left them to die. Right. DeVries is the priority. Everything else comes second. Let's hope the Seer was bluffing. I don't think this is an idle threat, given the carnage we've already seen. We're these folks' only hope. Right. DeVries and the Seer's underling have to be stopped. Everything else comes second. Ouch. Not exactly the tact I would have taken. Good news. Engines are fine. Bad news? Your outlook's less rosy. Don't worry. We already know DeVries ain't got a heart that could spare 2 beats for anyone. And you seem awful frugal in that regard, too. I think harm's done by folks in a white hat as often as black. Blood just hides the color. I was just wondering the same question myself. That's one view. Commander here's what we like to call a free agent. Keeps folks like you on their toes. That's the Commander's nice way of saying, putting an end to your bullshit. Law. You can bet this is the work of those cultists we tangle with outside. But what's the gain from butchering a bunch of scientists? Look there, on the counter. Reckon it's the N-ray scanner that scientist was on about. Nice job, Commander. Seems that scanner really did the trick. Something there on the counter. Looks useful. Nice job, Commander. Seems the power's been rerouted. We should look around. Looks like some kind of communication device. Could be handy. Bet Azza could access the data in this thing. Once she stopped gibbering about knives and blood and what have you. That's gotta be the N-ray range. I'm looking forward to having some words with this Victor. Never let a locked door stop us before. Let's look for another way in. A lot harder to shoot what you can't see! Victor's not the first to be taken in by DeVries' cunning. It feels wrong to punish him for it. I doubt he's got any more secrets to tell anyway. Times like these, I really start to worry about you, Commander. You always did have a reputation for thoroughness. Now, hold on. Right. Guess there's that. Best talk quick, Commander. Won't give me any answers once that bullet's finished its work. Something about that Alva doesn't square. And she called me sad. I'm not sad. Just for the record. Svoboda sure has it out for that initiate. Guess I would too if Alva had killed a bunch of my colleagues. That terminal's as good a place as any to search for more evidence of who was responsible for the attack. Could have sworn that terminal was off before. Probably wouldn't hurt to check it out and see if we can't glean anything more about the attack. Would have been nice to perform that search before there was a corpse in the room, but beggars and choosers. Sure, I could use a few ticks off my feet. Leg has been aching a bit. But hey, you need me, you know where to find me. And don't let that one stray outside your peripherals, if you take my meaning. We can brainstorm later. Feel like I'm watching a work of fiction right now. Is she talking about me? Whoa, didn't realize we were landing so close to the action. Wow, this station's sure gone to scrap since last I stepped about. Don't think we'll be hitching a ride anywhere quick. Think they made the statue big enough? Looks like folks holed up here after the fighting started. Guess not everybody was eager to take sides. Lest you're bent on exploring? Best we hoof it over to Matriarch's Mercy and meet with that abbot Basar mentioned. Beautiful mural. Wait, one of these panels ain't like the others. Looks authentic. Maybe we should take it with us. Not like it's doing any good here. Think they'll notice if we jump the queue? Law. Haven't seen this many folks crammed together since recalled libations night at the Thruster. Smells about the same, too. Keep your lamps lit. Wherever there's trouble, there's always opportunists willing to profit from it. Where to first, Commander? N-ray range, Zeranium manufactory, or outpost opportunity? Seems that exclusion zone wasn't just for show. If it's this bad down here, can't imagine what the situation's like upstairs. Not half as much as we value our benevolent overlord. Ain't that right, Val? I get it. I felt the heat from that same exhaust port. But some folks, our ace at hiding was burning them up inside. You can't blame yourself. I wasn't. He's got us there, Commander. Look, I lived alone for 10 years. Got used to things being a certain way. I'll be better at closing the fresher door. Looks like we're in for a hike. I was just thinking, you know what would make this climb better? Being shot at. Sure, it's pretty now, but Have we considered what it might look like on fire? Looks like the mansion's back up for grabs. Here's to the next residents being above felony. When even scavengers are falling on hard times, you know the situation's dire. All aboard! What? You were thinking it too. Fastest way down, sure. But you won't be getting back up. We gotta find a way to unstick this door. Law, this outpost really took a hit. Be a miracle if we find survivors. Guess they're survivors after all. For now, anyway. I've been laid up same as those troopers, and I don't wish that kind of suffering on anyone. Aunties or no. Let's look for those coils. Nice feeling, being able to help out once in a while. The Mantisaurs here are clearly trying to finish what was started. People are dying, and all he cares about is what he can get out of it. Wish I could say I was surprised. Fort Endurance sure has fared better than Opportunity. Ironic, in its way. Are you seeing what I'm seeing right now, Commander? Hey, one of my favorite serials starts out just like this. Oh, it's not got the best ending, though. I'm gonna be picking Manosaur gristle out of my rotators for a week. Well, let's see who's left in charge. And yell at them. Good luck breaking the news to Wojciech. Ain't surprised, just disappointed. Wonder what we'll find in here. Apart from cultists, most like. Bit of a tight squeeze here. Zeranium gas. Nasty way to go. But better them than us. She sounds pleasant, if you're sure, Commander. But I'd watch myself around this one. Sounds like he's fighting for his life in there. I'm not laughing, swear it. I've just got a tickle in my throat. Mantisaur's inbound, Commander. Lord, they're coming from everywhere. How'd you know? Most folks can't suss it out unless I'm limping. Ah, Commander, come in. What? Again? Don't suppose you'd accept a doctor's note from Val. Must have had it knocked clean out of me. In fact, why don't I go look for it now? No offense taken, Marisol. Directorate trained me much the same. Ain't easy, is it? Always looking for weaknesses, places to pinch and twist. Did you check under your pillow? No reason. Oh, do you now? That's nice. The word is never. I'm fine, Val. But I have noticed you experiencing more vocal stutters lately. Reckon we should spend some time together at a workbench soon. And, what would you say the punishment in the Protector would be for burning a picture of the Sovereign? I'll take that as a yes. You're not hearing me, Val. They were out there for almost 10 years. You know what usually happens to someone left in suspended animation that long. Exactly. And it would be my fault it happens. Oh, I never should have stopped looking. I can't face the Commander right now, not like this. I'll be in the cockpit. All these years and I still can't get my head around what Augustine did. Sacrificing our whole team. And for what? What did our blood pay for? Oh, Commander. Thought you were Val. Glad to see you up and ambling about. And not, human stew. You know, when I first learned some of the escape pods made it away from the station, I did search for you, Commander. Just as soon as I was able. Might be you're giving me more grace than I deserve, but either way, thank you. I'll make it up to you, Commander. Somehow. So then, I gather Val's described our state of affairs? DeVries. Would have been better if she joined the dead. I figured she'd done just that until I got the alert that she brought down the Earth Directorate satellite. If she's of a mind to, she could use the information on that thing to destabilize the rift and destroy Arcadia. She was one of us, Commander. It's our responsibility to stop her. Should have expected you to understand the benefits of forced reformation. Figured a little risk wouldn't put you off. You always did favor a swift comeuppance. Glad to see you're just as by the book as I remember. She's going to ground now. But as part of her original undercover mission, DeVries was inserted at the Vox Relay Station on Paradise Island. She'd have followed protocol, established a safe room there. Wager that's where we'll find clues as to her present plans and whereabouts. From your lips written into law. We might ought to explore the island first, find out what we can. The satellite alert pinged DeVries' tracker in a town, name of Fairfield. Thank you, Commander. Means a lot coming from you. Remind me again how long those side effects from hibernation are supposed to last? Nothing to wring hands about then. Probably. Ha! You'd think so. But even before Antes invaded, the island wasn't exactly a utopia. No matter what lies the Protectorate tries to sell you. Brother's mostly nice, at least. I'd have reckoned you'd enjoy a little prattle after 10 years, but shows what I know. It'll be an adventure. Funny how often you seem to stumble into those. With your erudite insights, I wager it won't take us long at all to catch her. Can't, Val. You know that. I get the impulse. I do. But take it from someone who knows that whole lying low thing, only makes you easier to crush by the boots you're looking to avoid. Besides, this growing rift problem ain't just gonna subside. Oblivion's coming, Commander, and without the Earth Directorate, we're stranded. I'm not gonna stand around waiting to get extirpated by some tear in the universe. DeVries started this mess. Only follow if she's the one with the know-how to end it. I've got questions I want answered too, Commander. But I won't be too maudlin when she gets what's coming to her afterward. The Commander's got jokes. Seems your upper faculties are making a full recovery then. Good. Gonna need you sharp to catch DeVries. Astrogator's yours, whenever you're ready. Sooner we get to Paradise Island, the better. Seems so. Better luck next time, I guess. More like 9 and change. And a rough 9 years at that. But who's counting? Careful now. Oh, you sure haven't lost any of your boundless energy. Careful now. When one Val having to revive you a second time wasn't nowhere clear as yours. So we need to poke around a bit. Doubt she's there now, but it seems a better place to start than insulting your protectorate communications hub. Just to be clear, I'm not saying we strolling up to the Vox station and knock nicely. The Vox is highly restricted and heavily defended. It'd be a death sentence. Ought to bring Val with us when we leave. She might not look it, but she can be fearsome in a fight. Ready to disembark, Commander. Just say the word. Doesn't take an engineer to hazard a guess whose ship that is. DeVries is here, Commander. I'm sure of it. This is DeVries' ship, all right. Reckon we've the time for a quick inspection. Always knew our path to DeVries would turn bloody. Those mechs sure didn't pull their punches. Should be a snap to mop up anyone left. Eyes up. If our intel's good, we've got more trouble waiting for us ahead. We're so close. One elevator ride away from having DeVries in our crosshairs. Finally. Station's not gonna hold up against that rift for long. We need to get back to the incognito now. That rift's not getting any smaller. Come on, Commander, huff it, puff it. No way through that fence except in pieces. Let's find another way around. What's that on the monitor over there? Could be important. Damn. DeVries' team must have gotten to these mechs first. I don't favor fighting on two fronts, but it's not looking like we have another choice. We need to find us a fuse to get this old thing operational again. Just imagine the hustle and bustle of this place in its heyday. Shame it's all going to scrap now. No time to lollygag, Commander. Whatever's in that repository can wait. Law, there they are. Right out in the open. Best speed this up. We can't have got long before DeVries goes through with her plan. This must be the satellite that sent an emergency ping across the system. What led me to you, Commander. But why is DeVries hanging on to it? As far as bad portents go, don't get much more obvious than corpses. I'm starting to get an eerie feeling. Like someone's got their lamps on us. No time to waste. Let's have a look at those plans. Good chance DeVries' allies are ready for us. Let's make damn sure we're ready for them. If you were just gonna kill her anyway, why did we even bother with words? We've got the override codes. Let's use them on these mechs. Control should be nearby. No time to goggle the rift, Commander. We've got to get to DeVries. We've arrived at Greater Tranquility Station. Though can't say as tranquil's the word for how I'm feeling right now. I'm coming with you. Who better to make DeVries pay for Horizon Point than a pair of our own phantoms? I'm not asking. I'm telling. You've got to let me have this, Commander. I know what's at stake. I'm not asking you to set aside the mission. I'm telling you I want to be there when you face Augustine. I'm owed answers, Commander. Good. Would have been a shame if DeVries was the reason for us falling out too. Best we start discussing strategy, Commander. Won't bring Helen or Eric or Wade back, but I'll sure rest easier with her gone. Not to mention paying her back for the lives she's already taken. We can't let DeVries catch us on the back foot again. We need a plan. Bullet could solve a lot of problems. Provided we can reach DeVries before she enacts her plan to kill the delegates. Can't wait to see the look on her face. From my sights, specifically. Yeah, not getting ourselves blown to pieces is preferable. Can't recommend the experience myself. I thought you were the finest agent I'd ever met. I'd have thrown myself before a bullet for you. But you never cared about me at all. Did you? Had 10 years to practice. How many times do you need a snake to bite you to realize its nature? She's shown us who she is, Commander. She's showing us again right now. Don't encourage her, Commander. She hasn't changed. She's willing as ever to tread over others to reach her goal. You're wrestling fire here. You know that, right? Trust we'll be having words on the ship about all this, Commander. If DeVries doesn't shoot us in the back before then. Yes, Commander. You said to try and hold on to my humanity. But ain't this a just cause? Preventing the deaths of these delegates? Oh, believe me. Been playing back that classic nonstop since Horizon Point. Wish I'd listened when you told me not to trust others. But now's our chance to amend that error. I do. But being an Earth Directorate agent, let's be honest, Commander. That ain't been me for a long time. Not really. We're on our own here. It's on us to make the call. I do, in fact. I recall you couldn't spare so much as a word for me then. Real kind-like. Enough! Just enough, Augustine. I can't listen to any more of these excuses. Floyd, damn it all! I trust you. You know I do. Come death or damnation. All that just to turn around and kill her? Unbelievable. Have you lost your senses? I'm not the problem. Be serious, Commander. Oh, thank law. You had me chewing my cheek for a minute there. I did trust you. And look at the good it did. Damn you both to the void. You're not fit to lead, Commander. And if taking you out means preventing worse atrocities, then so be it. Change your mind? Is that what you think happened? She manipulated you, Commander. And now we've all got blood on our hands. Really? Because I can think of another. All you'll be remembered for is sending your team to the slaughter, assassinating innocent folks for your own gain. Some legacy you're leaving behind. No! Law, I thought you were just talking big. I didn't think you were actually going to let her shoot them. I think twice before making light of those 10 years you stole from the commander. And from me. It's over, Augustine. Nowhere left to run. No more lies you can peddle or people you can burn. Your rewards come due. That's law, Augustine. You could have told us what you were planning instead of letting us blunder into a trap. Give the order, Commander. Reckon I know you well enough by now to know that even trying would be like yelling at a heat sink to cool it. But come on, Commander. What are we waiting for? Have you forgotten what she did to you? Why are you humoring her? Commander, this is for Wade, for Eric and Helen, and for everyone else's futures you tried to burn. Sure you ain't kin to Auntie Cleo? Because you sure as hell know how to pass the buck. You can't be serious, Commander. We came here to stop DeVries, not give her a pass on murdering. You're really gonna stand there lecturing us about costs when it was our blood you spent. All this jawing's a waste of time. I ought to put a bullet in you and call it a day. I've got all the answers I needed, Commander. She's gone over the threshold and ain't no bringing her back. Best we make this quick, before she can hurt anyone else. Fine. I'll follow your lead. Just don't ask me to forgive her, Commander. It ain't in me. Not after all she's done. I should have stopped it. Stopped you! Sorry, Val. Wish I could. But there's only one way this is gonna end. You still have the others fooled, but my eyes are open now. I see what you are. And I won't compromise my principles just on your say-so. You told me to show no mercy to them that deserve none. I'd say Augustine DeVries surely counts. I'll find my own way from here. Don't need you. Never did. No, it wasn't just talk, but I never thought she'd turn into this. Don't you dare turn this on me. I trusted you to do the right thing. I trusted you. But obviously, that was a mistake. We need answers, now. How we extract those answers, I'll leave up to you, Commander. Personally, I'd start with the knees. What happened back there? We had her cornered, bullets chambered, justice within reach, and you just let her go? What is wrong with you? Give me one good reason why I should spend a single moment more under your command. And you let DeVries carry out her plan to kill the delegates? What were you thinking? DeVries is dead, so that's one thing you got right. But I should have been there. I should have been the one to pull the trigger. And you let her live. How could you? After all the damage she's caused, after what she did to us at Horizon Point. One day, you'll look back on this moment with regret. But I sure as hell won't. Do I? What am I supposed to do with that? How am I supposed to trust you the next time a tough choice has to be made? If DeVries is smart, and she is, she'll never let herself be caught again. That was our one chance, and you bobbled it. I'm gonna need time to muddle through all this, so let's just end things there. For now. Commander, a word? So, that's it then. DeVries dead. Justice served. Galaxy still needs saving, but we'll get to that. I once thought DeVries the upper limit of what an agent could be. Certainly everything I aspired to be. Tough, brave, smart. DeVries earned her grave, sure enough. So why does killing her feel like, hell, I don't know, putting out a star? You benched me, even when you knew how important this mission was to me. How about we start with how you benched me? Even when you knew how important this mission was to me. I wasn't talking about... You benched me, Commander. Even when you knew how important this mission was to me. That sort of thinking never would have slowed DeVries on the draw. You waiting for a pat on the back? Do you even hear yourself right now? She just ventilated 2 diplomats, and you're fixing to give her a pass. Why? Because she strung a few pretty words together? I should have seen the signs. I knew you weren't fit to lead. And yet I fooled myself into believing in the promise of you. Not to me! I made it plain I wanted more than blood. I needed answers. I'd have certainly liked the opportunity to try. Tell that to Helen, or Wade, or Eric. I need some space for now. But I'll be ready for whatever comes next. Once I stop seeing red, I'd like to believe that. I really would. I am, which is why I'm leaving. I won't stick around and watch you make a mockery of the uniform any longer. Wouldn't stay if you begged me. No. But it might have helped me finally lay him to rest. Oh no, you're not giving me the brush off this time. I'm being serious right now, and you're cracking wise? No, you shouldn't have. Don't need your coddling. I need you to take me seriously. Believe the words I say when I say them. And while you're at it, put an end to whatever tales you've spun yourself about me. I'm not as brittle as you seem to think. I don't give a damn about keeping my hands clean. This was my one chance to get answers, and you robbed me of it. I know you've your principles and all. Only wish you'd given my request to come as much consideration as you gave hers to live. Maybe if we'd ended her, like we planned, I could do that. But she's still out there, doing Lord knows what. Plotting most like. Dealing with the rift's important. But so was getting justice for our crew. That's really as much remorse as you can muster. Of course you do. Because law forbid you show remorse. Fine. Consider it dropped. But don't consider it forgotten. Or forgiven. Oh yeah? And how peaceful was it letting DeVries plant lead in those delegates? Mercy's a fine concept, but I'm not convinced everyone deserves it. Just hope we don't come to regret our stayed hand. I can almost hear Helen now, spouting off about how it took us long enough. Might need a few to work through my thoughts, but I'll be ready for whatever comes next. Don't you fret. Am I that transparent? And you're not exactly Commander Compassion. Seems you do. And now she's dead. By our hand. Thought I'd feel relief or something akin to it. But mostly I just feel unbalanced. Like a mech with gimbals on the fritz. Sorry. Sometimes I forget not everyone spent hundreds of hours elbows deep in motion systems. Gimbals help keep things oriented in 3-dimensional space. Might be easier if I was all circuits. Some. Maybe. Disoriented. Yeah, that sounds right. Just me then. Great, damn. And here I was hoping you'd have some pearls of wisdom to drop on me. Yeah, had a suspicion you were working the same problem. Now you're speaking my language, Commander. I could do without any more explosions myself. Yes, Commander. I never thought of it that way, but yeah, that's it exactly. Mighty insightful of you, Commander. Yes, Commander. I hear you. Don't suppose you have any advice on how to move forward from here? What can I say? I like how words fit together. Poetry's kind of like engineering. When it ain't working, everyone lets you know. Guess we're both fumbling in the dark for a switch then. That's comforting, in its way. Not a bad methodology, I suppose. Every day's a gift, and all of that. You and me. Oh, and Val, of course. Appreciate you making time to listen to me jawing on about all this. You and me. Oh, and Val, of course. Reckon it'd be rude to leave the others out of the fun, too. Then why'd you do it? Look there, Commander. Rift's all but turned that bridge to shreds. No chance we're getting past that rift without the device from Praetor. Knew we should have gone there first. Good thing we nabbed that rift modulator from Praetor. Should come in handy here. Damn, it's cold as an icebox out here. Don't suppose huddling for warmth's an option? See that mighty tower there? Belongs to the Archive. Bet she's just as impressive on the inside, too. That bridge has seen better days. A hell of a fight took place here. Guessing the Protectorate won. Auntie's Choice troopers ahead. Hope they ain't the shoot-on-sight kind. Folks in those trenches are about to be in for a bad time, I'd wager. Think I spy a cultist encampment ahead. What do you say, Commander? Time for a little target practice? Hate to say it, but I think we need Azza for this. Looks like folks here were in the process of a supply drop. Literally. And deprive you of some of that valuable devotion. Perish the thought. Reckon I'd be content clearing Protectorate camps all day. Anyway, ready to hit the next one? That's it for the third camp. Don't know about you, but I feel downright productive. Let's give Auntie's Choice the good news. Another camp down. One left. Best not to leave a job unfinished, right? I don't much fancy bending the knee to Auntie's Choice for help. Let's try petitioning the order first. Might be tricky getting inside the Archive otherwise. Nothing says death trap like a bunch of literal corpses. Careful now. Don't seem like these corpses fell to blade or gunfire. Cold got him first. That's one way to avoid grave dues, I guess. Desperate times certainly make for strange bedfellows. Can you imagine what it must have taken to build something like the archive? The engineering alone is unlike anything I've ever seen. Sure, they died horribly, but imagine a story they could have told if they'd lived. This area's been picked over, and I bet whoever's responsible has our missing part. New rule: no Auntie's Choice brand comestibles on board the Incognito. Shh, not a sound. Reckon they're earning hazard pay for this? Talk about a feat of industrial engineering. The scale alone. Stick close, Commander. Wouldn't want you wandering off and getting lost. What's next? Thermal transfer or cold storage? That one ours? Hitching a ride's likely the easiest way down. At least I can't think of a faster one. Not one we'd survive anyway. And here comes the order. Let's hope they're good at crunching more than numbers. This place has obviously come apart since the order left. Watch yourself. Seems we've the choice of adjusting the turret settings or sealing reinforcement doors. Either's fine by me. Bunker mech, get ready. Priority control access nook. Huh. Sounds like my idea of a good time. Let's check it out. Now we can finally process this RIP data and see what we're dealing with. Not a bad idea to take advantage of the supply caches neither, if you're needful. Oh, and there's also the fire suppression system from cold storage. All depends on what you've got in mind. All clear. Should be good to proceed into the archive proper. Let's hit up the reactor next. I've got to see the heart of this beast. This wire may lead us to our scavenger, if they're still around. Thank law. Hot shower? Here I come. That's fine. I already lost most feeling in my face anyway. Wherever that is, hope it's warmer. Unless you're eager to explore more of Cloister, we should head back to the ship. See where the data leads. Given how entrenched the Protectorate are here, we ought to consider a strategy. Crossing our fingers don't count. If neither the Order or Auntie's Choice have managed to breach these fortifications, what makes you think we can? Not a bad start, but we should consider calling down backup too. Many hands make for light, slaughter. Use your lamps, Commander. They've got heavy infantry, turrets, automechs, and Law knows what else. We need a plan, not just gumption. Yeah, I can see that. But let's say we entertain other options, just for grins and giggles. Void it. If we're going out, might as well be in a blaze of glory. Happily, maybe. But we need to take Spyreton first to gain control of that lift and call him down. Now the Spyreton's ours. We should look for some way to access the lift controls. Call the cavalry down from within. Didn't we pass the Order's headquarters on our way here? Big dome structure, kind of greenhouse-like. That's where I'd start. At a guess? Auntie Cleo herself, or one of her underlings. But we need to go off-planet for that, to the undisputed claim, Cleo's flagship. What about the Order? They've already got forces on Cloister, and they have every incentive to want to help take back the archive. Really hope we didn't just break the archive. Well, I'd wager this is one turn the Order didn't see coming. Auntie's Choice sure ain't going to be best pleased by this lack of return on investment. A little percussive maintenance might not be out of place here. I've got a wrench might do some good. Until we sort out these shifting priorities, the archive's about as useful as a box of rocks. Calcaduceus? Law. The Order's naming conventions really do beg our belief sometimes. I don't fancy leaving the profitless in charge. And it can't be the Sovereigns neither, that's for damn sure. Guess that leaves the original priority set. Call me an old-fashioned engineer, but I like to avoid doing irreparable damage, especially to an advanced computer like this one. Reckon our allies might feel the same. Reckon Auntie might have something to say about us doing irreparable damage to her future asset. Any job worth doing's worth doing right. Besides, I can't imagine the presiding bishop being best pleased by us irreparably damaging the archive. Any job worth doing's worth doing right. And taking a shortcut now that damages the archive might rob us of a useful bargaining chip in the long run. Commander, the archive will melt down if we don't restore thermal transfer before trying to process the rift data. What would destroying the archive even achieve? Other than making enemies of our own allies. Without the archive as a bargaining chip, we can kiss any chance of making friends with Auntie's Choice or the Order goodbye. Please reconsider, Commander. The archive's a singular construction. Nothing like it in the whole galaxy. I'd hate to see it destroyed out of fear. Good choice. The archive's a singular construction. Nothing like it in the whole galaxy. It ought to be treated with care. Pardon us if we don't shake hands later. Well, I'm never going to look at a sprat the same way again. Time to see if the rumors about this place are true. Well. Seems the Order's been busy creating paradise. I have so many questions. Betting that building up yonder holds the answers. Never would have guessed the Order had all this space available, given what we saw at Matriarch's Mercy. Wonder why they're not moving folks in. This should be interesting. I think she's still breathing. And steaming. Probably best to mention this to Asa before we smear blood all over Newton. We really can't take you anywhere, can we? Right. Docile as a tame sprat, our Asa. Whoa, hey now. Let's all simmer down. Just take a breath. Easy to say from the comforts of paradise. Reckon a visit to somewhere like Golden Ridge might test that theory some. Knew I should have insisted Val run some more tests on you. That's an attractive offer. Found a few of these lock boxes over the years. They've always got something lucrative inside. Our shoulders. You're not carrying this weight alone. Managed to get this far improvising. Seems like a winning strategy to me. That sure will be some comfort the next time one of my stumps seizes up. Wish I'd had someone like you swoop in during my explosive certifications. Might have kept my eyebrows. Was that really necessary, Commander? Don't answer that. Oh no, I'm not touching that remark. Too easy. That was a long time ago, Commander. Ain't a can worth kicking around in your head. Not when I've made my peace. Where there's a will, there's a crawl space. Lamps up, Commander. Maintenance hatch, just there on the ceiling. Might be good for keeping low. Looks like a clever bit of weapons engineering. I'll give it that. An obvious safety hazard in an Auntie's Choice facility? Whew. Color me shocked. That took care of it. Say, if the whole saving the galaxy thing doesn't work out, at least you'll have a career in maintenance to fall back on. Law. Something goes wrong, it's always the poor bastards in maintenance that feel the hurt first. Whatever was done to these creatures was done with intent. Just hope they weren't alive long to feel it. Dead and on display. Ain't that just like a corporation to turn a corpse into an exhibit? If this is what amounts to free enterprise, I'll gladly go without. If it helps any, I think you made the right choice. Men like that always have reasons to justify their actions. Don't make them right. I've got to be honest, Inez. I don't think any good's coming from this without a whole lot more harm, too. But I hope I'm wrong about that. That wasn't right, Commander. Inez made her choice. You should have respected it. We've got to do something, Commander. Can't leave that poor critter to be dissected. Or worse, drawing down on a defenseless cub? Law, I wonder about you sometimes. That stimulant ought to wake the cub up right quick. Oh, don't that just warm the ventricles? Good luck, little fella. Could be we don't have all the facts yet to explain this. Don't give up hope just yet. Best keep low if we want to avoid trading blows with those ursopods ahead. What's next? Borstwurst? Get on out of here, pig. Go make yourself a nice sty someplace folks won't cut you up. If you were banking on chaos, you've sure created some. Incognito's not a barn, Commander. I'll make sure Val knows the pig ain't for eating. I'm just glad we're not taking it back to the ship with us. Had me worried for a second there. Not sure the cub's long for this life without its mother. But at least we've given it a chance. What's one more body after the pile of corpses we've assembled? I say leave him to his reward and let all memory of him rot. You ought to be grateful. Commander just did what you couldn't. But, sure. Let's sort it out back at the Incognito. He's really gonna make us do all the work, ain't he? Got a bright future in management if the whole doc thing don't work out. Imagine Inez will want to be here to deal with that doc. He's not going anywhere at any rate. We've got your six, Inez. Do what you need to. I know a trooper you might be more open to conversating with. She sure would love to have words with you. Well, he's not going anywhere, so let's move. But slow, watchful. Don't want to suffer the same fate as those troopers. Yeah, I don't like the looks of this one bit. Let's take stock of our options before running ahead into teeth and claw. I hope you're not thinking what I think you are. The Incognito's not a zoo, Commander. This distress signal? Auntie's Choice by my guess. But Inez would know for sure. That's an Auntie's Choice dropship. No doubt about it. If it is. Suppose you'll be getting that face-to-face soon with the doctor. You ready for that, Inez? That's just begging to be found out if they're giving anyone the key to the front door. Whole reason the Earth Directorate exists is to prevent abuse like this. Maybe we're not perfect, but we're still the only check on evil in this whole void-damn galaxy. Used to think the Earth Director was an exception to that rule. Don't much feel that way anymore. These guards didn't see us coming. Bet those inside won't neither. Reminds me when I found you, Commander. Practically frozen stiff. Less dead, though. Much easier to deal with them this way. What? Is it stuck? Law. If it ain't one thing, it's another. Well, let's hop to it, shall we? Ain't finished yet, Commander. We still need to send the data brick to the archive before we're done here. This is really taking me back to the days trawling through ship bellies trying to figure out why an ice dispenser on Deck 3 ain't working. So these are the good cultists, then? You hear how that sounds, right? Cultists up ahead. We should nab Azza before pressing on. She'd know how best to handle him. Might be best to scarp her off before the bullets start flying. I'm not suggesting we help this fellow along, but I'm not suggesting it. More mercy than he'd have shown us, I warrant. Sealed. Protectorate's work, no doubt. Isn't there supposed to be a way to unseal this near the archive's entrance? And with that, Spyreton's ours. Oh no, how'd that happen? Our reinforcements aren't going to be able to get down here to help us unless we get it open. Guess we ought to go deal with the Protectorate in Spyreton. You can call me Niles. Rest isn't important just now. Could have sworn Marisol mentioned having an old contact here in Cloister. Maybe we should come back with her. Live by the Protectorate's rules, die by the Protectorate's rules. Let's keep on. Good warm-up. Who's next? Here's to a more rational future. Hopefully. We ought to return to the garden and let Bassard know the job's done. You looking to turn the Order into another Protectorate? Because this is how it starts. Sooner or later, surveillance always invites suppression. See, that never would have worked on Val. She's built different. Oh, but good job. Guess we're doing things the hard way. Look at you, changing hearts and minds. And saving us a whole lot of headache to boot. That felt less like a victory and more like squashing a bug that's already half dead. I take back every mean thing I've ever said about you, Tristan. Well, except about how you eat. Still stand by that one. That was the best possible outcome for everyone involved, all things considered. Well, maybe not for Corbin. He's probably getting executed for this. When you're the one who walks away, you get the choice of how to tell the story. Even to yourself. Wonder what they're keeping on ice here. Sorry, couldn't resist. This setup's all kinds of wrong, if safety's any concern. Guessing it ain't. In which case, we might as well try our luck with the N-ray scanner to reroute power. Dibs. Remind me to go over trigger safety with you when we get back to the Cognito. I can see the slogan now. Why wait for the apocalypse when you can carry it with you? Might be a wild idea, but what if we crafted some of this rift gunk into ammo? Bet it'd be awful lethal. Bet we could craft this gunk into some lethal ammo. Once we've gotten our hands on that rift device, we can look for more of it too. Protectorate engineers. Never stood a chance. Huh. This auxiliary pump's seen better days. Reckon we could fix it in 2 ticks with the right tools, though. Never know when you're gonna need the odd toolkit. I'd hang on to that, where are you? We're gonna need a fuse to activate this. Could find it nearby if we're lucky. Damn. Hope it happened quick like. But I'm guessing not. That should do it. All that's left now is to activate the system. You're full of surprises, Commander. Never figured you to have a soft heart for critters, especially big, nasty ones. Hope you didn't have any unfinished business in there. Turn your lamps on that building over there. Reckon that's where we'll be able to get our hands on the rift modulator. That's one hell of a wall. Going over or under's out of the question. But what about around? Might be best if we nab Inez for this business. Feels wrong going ahead without Inez. She'd want to be a part of this. Now that we've done the hard work, time to let the hangers-on in to enjoy the fruits of our labor. I don't like the look of that bunker mech. Let's play this smart. I was beginning to wonder when we catch sight of one of those towers. Let's get to calibrating, shall we? That almost sounded like, fuck, mortar fire, move! Whatever that was, doesn't sound like anything I'd like to meet up close. Well, it's not biting the hand that feeds, but it clearly wants something else. Inez might know better. Well now, looks like we've got ourselves a little tag-along. Not to question the gift, but I'd expect a lot more personnel around for a lab of this size. Where is everyone? The Sovereign's a downright dove compared to the Console. This is gonna be bad for everyone. Something ain't right about that rift. Though, kinda makes you wonder what might be inside it. These quarters are awful meticulous. Makes me wonder what Valancourt might be hiding hereabouts. This much Borslov ain't a meal. It's a cry for help. Law, he really wasn't looking after himself, was he? Say, bet we can unfold that rift now. I gotta know what's in there. They really just left the modulator out in the open, huh? Well, let's say we avail ourselves of their poor security. Be more surprising if it was optional. At least that explains where everyone went. That sounds like the device we're after. Wouldn't mind laying my lamps on this anomalous event either. You know, for science. Oh, great. I just got the blood out of my rotators from the last time you tried convincing someone. Always pays to plan ahead. These ought to make sure trouble is any. Once we've got our hands on the modulator, rifts like that might start presenting opportunities instead of death traps. I don't fancy going up against Valancourt, but the idea of working with the man, I like even less. No point wringing hands over one scientist when the entire colony's survival is on the line. Knew you had a plan. This one suits me just fine. Hold on, she's no threat and she's got no incentive to betray us. We don't have to do this. We've got the modulator. Now let's use it to make tracks and get the hell out of here. This is really necessary, Commander. She's already been fairly forthcoming. Our call, but you're right. She was willing to betray the Protectorate. Who's to say she won't one day point the finger at us to save her own hide? Feels like a glimpse of Arcadia's future, if Auntie's choice has its way. Why do I feel like we're about to meet some of the most nettlesome people in the world? Beats walking. Nothing here to my taste, of course, but You enjoy yourself, Commander. I'm gonna have nightmares about this room, ain't I? The kind that get real uncomfortable to talk about later. Inhumane, absolutely. Maybe if you put your full weight on it somehow, you can, tear it down. That vent there might be our ticket inside. Can't believe I just watched peace made between the Order and Auntie's choice. Seems like a dream I'd have after eating too many woolly curds. Fun as that was, maybe we can get back to a plan that stands a chance of working. Sorry, Commander. Know you pinned some hope on getting those two to make nice. Well, you know what they say about sprats and canids. Probably for the best we put these raps down before they come across any unsuspecting marketeers. Then again, we in the murder for hire business now? No, Commander. Come on. Pass. You don't say. Don't suppose you can think of any other fuzzy memories like that, or, less fuzzy ones? Notice you've got your own share of prostheses. Those from the garbage pile on Argos or testing on Numa. Law. I'll show him the business end of my shooter and see how he feels about loose ends then. Do we look like easy marks? Don't know about you, Commander, but I don't take kindly to extortion. Let's find another way inside. A cheaper one. You're not exactly a peach, neither. This ought to be Inez's call. Inez. Small chance of that happening now, regardless of who gets production rights. Wouldn't even be having this debate if we let Zeb release that info about the matriarch and the skip drives. Void calling out to anyone else? Just me. Ray reminded me of every middle runger I ever had the displeasure of dealing with back on Triangulum. Of course the lift's broken. Just our luck. Seems a lot of folks want their gray matter scrubbed clean. Just like being back on smoke extraction detail at the shipyards. Law. Can't stop picturing Zeb going through this exact process. Someone's been busy. Well, that was a load of crap. Might be that was a mercy. I don't know anymore. This must be the lead scientist. Wonder if he's also had the pleasure of being refreshed. That's enough, Commander. Whatever point you're trying to make, it's been made. Apparently this one's never sampled his own supply before. I can't be party to this, Commander. After everything we've learned about mental refreshment, starting to feel like we're becoming the very same monsters we've sworn to fight. Sometimes I swear you say things just to stress test my ticker. Who are you trying to convince here? He's part of the machinery of this place. Of course he's willing. He thinks he's serving the Protectorate. But we know better. That could have gone worse. Not very inquisitive, was she? Seems the mental refreshment process takes the meddling right out of folks. It's just like Zeb said. Mental refreshment really takes the meddling right out of folks. Makes them docile. Right. That's why we're here. Got some thoughts we need rinsed. Washed. Deloused? Are you gonna be like this the whole time we're here? Now hold on, tell me you're not proposing we shoot an unarmed civilian. Feels ugly and wrong, what we just did. Doubt the Earth Directorate would approve neither. How much of a fuss could this one fella cause, really? Come on, Zeb. No need to cut any bellies over maybes and ifs. Nice pep talk there, Commander. Really appreciate it. If we start gunning down civilians, where does it end, Zeb? Ain't Arcadia covered in enough blood? The Commander's right. This man didn't put you in the lave, Zeb. He's just trapped in the system, same as everyone else. Or maybe you ought to start thinking like one. This damn job. Never gets easier, does it? Damn, Commander! You didn't even give the fellow a chance to speak. That's a stroke of brilliance, Commander. Wish I'd have thought of it. You're not helping. I'm kin to the risks, Zeb. Understood, Commander. I don't like it, but if that's the order, that's the order. Sorry, Zeb. I'm with the Commander on this one. Now, hold on. I know we had to kill that fellow with the Sentinel, but this man's unarmed. He's already surrendered. Zeb seem a little off to you, Commander? Have a look, Commander. With a little elbow grease and some inadvisable engineering, reckon I can finagle these components into a fine explosive gel. Remember those components I found? I was able to turn them into something halfway useful after all. This gel should get us through that vault door. Unless this is about the mission. Can it wait? What did you need, Commander? Damn, Commander. You don't have to work me over for a simple idea. Thought you appreciated a little ingenuity is all. I hear what you're saying, Commander. And I'm touched by the concern, really. Just doing my part. But thanks for the vote of confidence, Commander. Let's keep on. I'll continue tinkering on this in the meantime, see what I can come up with. I let the past pin me down for too long. But I'm a lot more capable now than I was back on Horizon Point. You really don't have a lick of confidence in me, do you? Maybe I shouldn't be surprised. Rarely seems we're operating in tandem these days. Turns out you were right about trusting my instincts. I think he's starting to worry me. Yeah, maybe. You take the honors, Commander. I'll be right behind you. Imagine it'd be a long time coming if I was. That whole business with the curator. Never seen Zeb so eager for bloodletting before. He's a changed man. Just ain't sure it's for the better. That business with the curator. I'm glad Zeb stood down, but it was close. Never seen him so eager for bloodletting before. He's changed. Ain't sure for the better. I'd have expected Zebulon to be a little more prepared going into this. Then again, he ain't Earth Directorate. Training's just not there. You're asking on account of what happened with the curator, right? Years haven't been kind to Zeb, that's for sure. But I still believe he's trying to do the right thing. Don't know that I like the idea of burning just to keep the chill off others, but you may have a point. I'll be damned if I go down the same path as DeVries. Some ideals are worth fighting to keep, even if it means taking the long way round to winning. Think I'm gonna be sick. Zeb said it was 132, but that don't do us much good without determining which switch corresponds to which number. Gotta be some trick to it. Zeb said it was 132. Apparently N-ray wiring might offer a clue, which would have been good to know before we started pulling switches. It's secrets all the way down with the Protectorate, ain't it? At least he had the good sense to call in the reserves. Shows he's starting to trust us, at least a little. Yeah, maybe. Not sure what to make of it all, really. Just glad we seem to be shifting in the same direction now. Honestly, Commander, I don't know. The Zebulon I knew took his Hippocratic oath seriously. Now he's taking lives that don't need reaping. And again, maybe we're the ones being soft-headed about all this. Maybe a little blood's the cost of saving the whole damn colony. It ain't right. And I think Zeb knows it deep down. Much as I hate to admit it, wouldn't be the worst idea to keep our lamps on a swivel around him. Come on, Commander. You know it was more complicated than that. I'm not saying Zeb was right to suggest what he did, but you asked me if we could trust him. My answer is yes, and I'll do my utmost to keep that trust. Don't you worry. I'm watching Zeb. If he starts acting squirrely, I'll step in. You're the one who spared her. Tell me again, which of us is the more trusting? Right. That too. Learn how much good a bullet to the head can do. Anyway, Zeb's a far cry from the kind of zealot DeVries became. He's trying to liberate Arcadia, not destroy it. I don't want to argue this anymore right now. Let's just get back to what we were doing. Who knows? Could come in handy. Knew that piqued your interest. Just a jape, Commander. I know what I'm doing. Hoped you, of all people, would have seen that. Helps working alongside the finest Earth Directorate agent to ever grace Arcadia. Wasn't my own hand sinned against me back on Horizon Point. Got by fine enough without you last time. Forget it. Let's just keep on. I'll continue tinkering on this in the meantime. One of us has got to keep lamps on the future instead of aiming them at the past. Oh, Commander. I'm talking about you. Really need to have Val re-examine those jumbo faculties of yours. Ouch, Commander. Learn to take a compliment. Oh, you should know me well enough by now to know I wouldn't blow smoke about your skills. Well, you set a higher bar than most then. Forget it. Let's just keep on. I'll continue tinkering on this in the meantime, just in case. Appreciate you showing him a little grace, all things considered. Not as well as I'd have liked to, at any rate. You're missing the point by a wide margin there, Commander. Well, no use stewing. We've still got a vault to break into and tyrannical government to topple. You're right. Can't play a fair game when your enemies are willing to flip the board. The Protectorate are willing to do whatever it takes. We should be too. I know you're right. Suppose part of me still feels responsible for what he's gone through. If only I stuck it out, maybe then. Speaking of, remember those components I found? I was able to turn them into something halfway useful after all. This gel should get us through that vault door. Humble too. What in the void? Can't think of a single reason why the Earth Directorate would be trading correspondence with the Matriarch. Anything's possible. Maybe they were trying to gain more info on what the Matriarch was up to. That has to be the case, right? That's one word for it. Concerning's another. Could all be lies. A forgery or... I don't know. Wish I shared that confidence. Me neither, Commander. Smells like smoke. I just can't make out the flames yet. Feels like I've been falling and falling since Horizon Point. And here's the bottom. Come to meet me at last. Do what you like. But my days with the Earth Directorate are done. In all fairness, he tried to help. I don't think he's aiming to get us killed exactly, but I wouldn't place bets on our safety being much of a priority, neither. No going back from here, not until we've done what we came here to. Still can't believe the Earth Directorate shook hands with the Matriarch. Nothing's ever as it seems, is it? Did he? Or did we force his? How did it come to this? And just leave him here? Is this what it means to be an Earth Directorate agent? Feeding everyone into the grinder of the mission? I know you're trying to help in your way, but can you not refer to my dead friend as a chunk of carbon? Oh, Commander, stop killing my friend. Yeah, I'd say so. Do I seem all right? Sorry. I didn't mean to. This is all just hitting a little hard. DeVries happened to me at a rising point. But the Earth Directorate didn't exactly concern itself with my well-being after the fact. Yours neither. Preventing Zeb from releasing the skip drive blueprints, you mean? What about the deal between the Earth Directorate and the Protectorate? We were lied to by omission when we came to Arcadia. Set up for failure. Doesn't that piss you off, Commander? That our lives are so expendable? Oh, yeah? Well, this feels pretty damn personal. Zeb was my friend. He saved my life, and I took his What? Keep the Earth Directorate secret? Protect Arcadia? Who even knows? Must be nice up there. No thoughts frying in that brain pan of yours. Don't know if I can. Not after everything that's happened. Thanks for talking me off the ledge, Commander. Like always. No. Of course you wouldn't. Because he didn't matter to you. Not like he did to me. True. But I already know which way my gut's pulling. You're right. There's still people out there who need our help, and we can provide it. We should at least try to. It's what Zeb wanted too. Once upon a time. The Earth Directorate's a mess, and it's made mistakes. But in spite of everything, I still believe in what it represents. I'm not saying we abandon Arcadia, but we can damn well walk away from the Earth Directorate. Why not? Their back's been to us for 10 years. Doubt they'd even notice. Also wanted to be a professional sprat juggler when I was 5. Dreams change. No one's looking out for us but us. Time we start acting like it. Yes, Commander. Habits too set in. Besides, I don't imagine you respond to anything else. Let's get out of here. Tomb's no place for the living. Zeb's dead. I'm all full up on regrets. Improvements need to be made for sure. The corruption and callousness rooted out, but change has to start somewhere, right? Why not with us? Now, let's get out of here. A tomb's no place for the living. Maybe I have. Took long enough, huh? Yeah, about time we hightailed it out of here. A tomb's no place for the living. First, we let Audra sacrifice herself, and now Zeb's dead too. First, we fucked up. Got all those other members of the cell killed, and now Zeb too. Losing Audra and the rest of his cell couldn't have helped neither. Oh, what a mess we made of that whole business with the Sentinel. At least he has Audra. But losing the rest of his cell couldn't have been easy on him. Oh. Maybe we ought to have listened to Audra and left that transport well enough alone. Losing Audra couldn't have helped neither. Still wish we could have done more there. He could have suffered a lot less if we had done more to help him back on Paradise Island. Quit fooling around, Commander. You let off one more bullet at Zeb, and you're gonna get 10 coming back at you. Damn it, Commander, I warned you. You get turned around? I'm not abandoning Zeb. Not again. He needs our help here, Commander. Now really ain't the time, Commander. Look, you can leave, but you'll leave alone. I'm staying to see this through. And don't think you'll find me at the incognito after. Ain't a threat, just a statement of fact. Whatever you choose is up to you. Just making my position clear. Something more important than a heist into the matriarch's own vault. Find that hard to believe. I won't follow anyone unwilling to put some skin in the game for me. Not to worry. I've got your back, Commander. Long as you have mine. Over here, Commander. Reckon I found something that might be useful later. We're breaking into a vault, Commander. Only makes sense we might need something with a little punch. Quit fooling around, Commander. First Zeb. Now Audra. Is there anyone we can save from themselves? Damn it. Zeb was right. Never should have let that curator go. We could have prevented this. So much for mercy. Zeb was right. What'd I give to hear one more I told you so? First Zeb, now the rest of his friends. I'm tired of leaving bodies behind us. He didn't give us a choice, Audra. His plan would have unleashed chaos across the whole colony. Must be a way to suss out which switch is which. Maybe if we could peep the wiring. Slow up, Zeb. What are you talking about? Zeb, good seeing you again. About what happened on Paradise Island, I want to apologize. Gotta say you had me worried. The message you sent sounded serious. I can see a half-dozen points of failure, but bad odds ain't ever stopped us before. You hang back here. The commander and I'll take care of this. What message? Why didn't you say anything about it sooner? Guess you were right about something being afoot. I'll admit, this looks bad, but the commander's right. There's gotta be an explanation. Or maybe the Earth Director was looking out for itself and none other. Seems good at that. I'll admit, this looks bad, but there's gotta be some explanation. Can't argue with that. The Earth Directorate all but left us for dead. If it can't even care for its own people, I don't suppose it gives a lick for the folks of Arcadia. Took the words right out of my mouth. Downsides like how the skip drives are causing rifts? Yeah, I say that's worth a fret. I couldn't muster less care for the Earth Directorate. But making skip drives available to all? That'd be like throwing a lit match into a fuel converter. Can't think of a worse idea. It's worth holding the Earth Directorate's feet to the fire for this deal, but I don't think the entire organization should be judged by its worst decision. It's done a lot of good, too. Hey now, we're all still on the same side here, but the commander's got a point. This technology is too dangerous to leave in the hands of just anyone, Zeb. Still ain't sure about loosening the skip drive designs, but we've got some time there. Until the rift is fixed, no one's going anywhere using one. Not unless they have a death wish. Hold on, Commander. Exposing the Earth Directorate in this way will cause people to lose faith and embolden the corporations to do as they please. Who does that help? I've seen you bend over backwards to help this colony. If you truly believe this is the right course of action, I'll back you. But you had best be sure. Ain't sure I trust you to make this call, Commander. Most days, I'm not sure you know what you're about. This is just more proof of the same. We can't go through with Zeb's plan. At the end of the day, it's your call. I'll back you. But you had best be sure. I know you're aiming to do the most good for the most amount of people, Zeb, but sowing chaos ain't the way. Whoa, put the brakes on, Commander. You can't be serious. We're not shooting Zeb. I won't let you, Commander. Zeb's still my friend, leaving all else aside. I have a duty to protect him, as much as you. Void take you, Commander. I won't forget this. Void me. I couldn't see it before, but you're right. Only difference is this time we have a chance to stop the knife before it makes contact. Thank you, Commander. We can solve this peaceably, I know it. Sorry, Commander. Didn't need to end this way, but you've not really given me much choice at all. Have you? So am I. Please, Zeb. Don't make us do this. Don't make me do this. Guess this is goodbye. Don't worry. I'm willing to show you a little more grace than you showed that curator. Easy. We're just talking, Zeb. No need to escalate things. Not to mention what might happen if that skip drive tech falls into the wrong hands. I won't be the one to draw first blood here. But you can be damn sure we'll be having words about this later. Actually reckon I'm taking my leave for good. We're too far apart now on the things that matter. There's no future for us that don't end the same way it did last time. Not sure Arcadia's got one either, thanks to your decision. Come on, Commander. Let's just go. You remember what we argued about? The day before I left? A lot's changed. But that hasn't. Life in Arcadia could be just like we dreamed it. But there's no future if you go through with this. Not for anyone. I might have something else that can get you into that vault, Commander. Let's see if we can't suss out which switch is which before we commit to guessing. Keen as I am to avoid another defibrillation. Maybe if we could peep the wiring. Am I running hot, or was that a hint of worry I heard in your voice back there? Pay the Commander no mind. Tongue often draws faster than sense. Please, continue. Protectorate's not exactly known for subtlety. Color me surprised. Just what exactly are you thinking, Zeb? You've some strange notions of fun. Have you forgotten that it's the skip drives that are causing the rifts? Plus, making the skip drive tech available, that's like throwing a lit match into a fuel converter. Can't think of a worse idea right now. Whoa. Put the brakes on, Commander. I'm sure Zeb can be reasoned with. Sure, yeah, all right. Sometimes I wish you would... Never mind. Guess we're gonna do things your way, Zeb. I'm not about to stand aside while you unload on Zeb, Commander. It's not happening. Yeah, I think I'd like that. Commander, please. Ain't sure that's the right takeaway there, Commander. Since the Commander won't say it, I will. I'm sorry. I thought we were doing the right thing. There ain't words to describe how sorry I am. I thought we were doing the right thing. Since the Commander's suddenly and conveniently tongue-tied, I'll say it. I'm sorry, Zeb. We let you down. What the Commander said. We thought we were doing the right thing. I want to talk it over with the Commander, but... yeah, maybe we can work something out. Read you loud and clear, Zeb. If you're referring to Horizon Point, I call those extenuating circumstances with the helping side of cold-blooded betrayal. That true, Zeb? Is that what you think? If the whole colony ain't destroyed first by some fool trying to use a drive inside the system, there was causing the rift, Zeb. Not to mention how this agreement with the Protectorate will completely destroy the Earth Directorate's reputation. Must be why the Chief said we'd be on our own if we were caught. We were breaking the terms of this agreement. Unbelievable. Let's say you're right, Zeb. What comes next? And this way, at least the Earth Director's reputation will stay intact too. Hold on. I know we were too late for the others, but what about Audra? We helped her escape. Target practice ain't so merry when you're in the crosshairs. Plenty. Doubt any of it'll breach that thick head of his, though. Guess a cane can change his spots. Sometimes. Yeah, I can see how Tristan might give the up-and-comers something to aspire to. He does cut a fine figure when he wants to. Good thing you didn't start with much, then. Looking a bit dewy there, Arbiter Rao. You're showing a lot more restraint these days than I'd expect. Mayhall's right to look up to you. Killing's always a choice. Reckon you'll be living with this one for a long time. There's a simpler explanation here, Tristan. You're just refusing to see it. Sometimes you try to do the right thing and blood still gets let. Mayhall made her choices, you made yours. Put it behind you. Won't argue he seems capable, but let's be mindful where his true allegiance lies. All right, but don't come to me with tears if your new friend decides to judge you the moment I've gone. Ain't this a sight? Class consciousness in action. Venting frustrations don't normally involve, an actual vent. Void the strike. They should be after blood. Going back to work under Auntie's choice ain't exactly my idea of success, but at least I'll have better terms to labor under now. That could have gone better. Any other ideas? Don't reckon those wraps are just for show. This factory used to be a protectorate site, It's really going downhill under the new owners. Got what we came for. Now, let's get out of here while we still have all our nose hairs. What do you want to wager there's something in there for Val we can use? Knew a few arc welders back on Triangulum who would kill for a suit like that. Lower the rate of deaths on the job for sure. Yeah, with a facility this impressive, I'm interested to see the work that warranted its construction. Shame Brun couldn't be reasoned with. Mind like hers could have solved a lot of problems in the galaxy. Watching you rake Brun over the coals of her own logic ain't a confrontation I'm ever like to forget. Nicely done, Commander. I'm with Marisol. Given the security here, if we don't tread lightly, leaving peacefully might not be an option later. Seer Boujol sure was something. Hope you didn't take any of her harsher comments to heart. I've seen plenty of folks shot. Never seen a logic bomb brain off. That's getting my vote. I'm partial to the totalizer. If we do, they're sure not to see it coming. If this is a relationship you care to salvage, you oughtn't give up. Who knows? She might surprise you with understanding one day. Quite the feat of engineering to keep a place like this operational. Working with high voltage doesn't leave room for a lot of mistakes. That's one tower recalibrated. Exemplar Simon will be pleased. Another tower recalibrated. Timing couldn't be better. I'm still feeling all sorts of ways about having a corporation come to our aid, but it's sure better than the alternative. Talk about perfect timing. That's Augustine's ship. Guess we're about to find out whether Mercy was the right choice. So the matriarch knew the protector would fail, and still, those she doomed built statues of her. Ain't that always the way? There's the providence. Oh, what a beauty. I mean, apart from the whole rendering space-time asunder. And look there. That rover looks inbound for the skip labs. Scouts and mechs ahead. But if we can get past them, that rover's our ticket to the Providence. If we'd had friends like these along the first time, would have made our initial trip to the station a lot easier. Rover's ours. We should get up to the Providence quick-like and find that rift modulator. How did you even spot that? An unexploded plasma charge. This must have been what DeVries used when she... Well, you were there. You know. She really did think she was doing the right thing. Ain't sure I'll ever get my mind around that. So, this is where it happened. Where Augustine decided we were the price she was willing to pay. In a glorified closet. This station's a never-ending mess. Good thing we've got our own rift modulator to help us navigate. Not sure I'd trust our shields to hold up against that plasma. Let's find another way around. Thought my plasma shower days were behind me when I left Triangulum. More rifted troopers. Let's give them peace the only way we can. Why can't the rift ever reconstitute anything nice? Waste of time working with those troopers. We could have handled that just fine ourselves. I'd rather not linger here, Commander, if it's all the same. You and me both, Val. Admonish me, huh? I might have enjoyed that. Might still, provided we live through this. Bet the sprats they breed to feed canids feel pretty good before the jaws close too. This must be the Sovereign's office. Guess money and power can't buy taste. Taking credit for someone else's genius? Can't say I'm surprised. Only one person here knows Horizon Point as well as you, Commander. Should be me, watching your back. Like old times. A would-be tyrant doing something tyrannical. Who could have seen this coming? Of course she's here. The past is future and all that. Well, I'm not trusting her to get the job done. Not like last time. As if the rift's not hair-raising enough? Something about those soldiers up ahead's got my spine tingling. There she is. The Providence. I'd have sacrificed pay to build a ship like that back on Triangulum. This explains a lot, actually. Never moseyed up here last go-around. Poor kid. Being back here feels like straying into a dream. The bad kind. I can't imagine a worse fate than forever hanging between life and death. Support's appreciated. Can't have much to fear with an arbiter at our side, right? I'm awake, Val, unfortunately. You can tell on account of the lack of screaming. Helen. Law, is that you? It's me, Niles. No, I look a mite different from how you remember me. Been working on my fashion sense. I know it's hard, but try to squeeze some sympathy from that stone inside your chest. Easy, Helen. This ain't a trick. I promise you. Commander's just lost the plot. You know how it goes. That sounds like... Helen? No, it couldn't be. Like hell I did. You told me to get back to the ship. Void the mission, you said. Like the commander said, we thought we were the only survivors. I'm sorry, Helen. I wanted to help, honest to law. Would've, but I was hurting myself. Everything happened so fast that Helen? It's me, Niles. It's called reconstitution. The Protectorate are trying to put the whole station back to how it was before it was destroyed. You included. But it's failing. Let's not open that can of breadworms yet, Commander. Val and I tried looking for you while the Commander went on ahead, but DeVries never intended for us to finish the mission. We barely escaped the station before she destroyed it. Oh, Helen. That's awful. But you were only defending yourself. I'd have done no different. She was alive when the rift engulfed the station. That's how she's here now. We could have saved her, Commander. We could have done something. Helen, we're not going to hurt you. But you mind telling us what happened here? We'd like to help you any way we still can. Thank you for putting an end to her suffering. I know that wasn't an easy decision, but it was the right one. Wish we could have talked her down, but at least she's not suffering any longer. She's in shock, Commander. What should we do? Sorry, Helen. Can you tell us the last thing you remember? Barely had time at all to evacuate before the station exploded. Rest easy now, Helen. You've earned it. Won't let no one forget your bravery. Glad we could do you this one last kindness. Rest easy now, Helen. You've earned it. Won't let no one forget your bravery. Peace ain't easy to come by these days. Glad you found yours, even if it's coming 10 years late. Won't let no one forget you. Helen. Commander, we can't just leave her like this. You'd never want this fate for yourself, would you? I was hurt too bad to help in the search. While Val was looking for you, the commander went on ahead to finish the mission. Except DeVries never intended on letting us succeed. Careful. You're pushing random buttons near an airlock here. I did, Helen. Honest to law. I worked to find you for as long as I could. Careful. She's already on edge. Can't believe it's come down to leaving you. Again, and she got retribution before the end, too. Suppose that's something. Damn it, Commander! Can't tell if you meant that as mercy or retribution, but it was badly handled, either way. Oh, was that all we needed? Good. My vision was starting to swim for a moment there. Another rift. And is that plasma wrapped up in it? I wouldn't recommend getting close. Haven't come this far just to give up. Let's look around. Gotta be some way to deal with this. Who knew the Sovereign could do math? Reckon you could sort out the missing pieces of this equation if you set your mind to it, though. Well, ain't that convenient. First nice thing the Sovereign's done for us. Best to get this equation inputted as soon as possible. I feel dumber just having listened to that. Well, at least we know what we need to clear that rift. Suppose this is a bad time to mention I barely passed my high-intensity arithmetic course at the Academy? Incomplete. I like a brain teaser as much as the next fella, but this might be beyond my skill set. Well, boarding was easier than I expected. Now, let's find a way to unseal the hangar before we're noticed. Looks like the cavalry's just rolled in. Anyway, the modulator has got to be on this deck. We should poke around, but quiet-like. See what information we can uncover. This can't be right. If skip drives are causing the rifts, why are they showing up past the frontiers of known space? It's a stumper, all right, but we'll have to worry about it later. Right now, we should concentrate on finding the console. Take out the console's troops before we're overwhelmed. Ain't time to waste spitting at the console's feet. We've got to get to the helm. Just goes to show, all the power in the world still can't protect you from a knife in the back. Law, look at the size of that thing. No way we're getting the modulator off the ship. Best we can hope is to get closer and learn more about it. Seems the console's surrounded by more than mere sycophants. Bad news for him, but good for us. Seeing evidence like this might dent the console's plan some, but I'm guessing he's far past reason. Protectorate or not, no one deserves this. Oh, we can carry this momentum through to the console. Tell me we're not going to just go blundering ahead. That's not the plan. Right, Commander? If we make it out of this alive, what say you put those skills to helping out around the Cognito? She could use a little more of that loving touch. Killing a scientist in cold blood? We've got to be better than this, Commander. Slick as ever, Commander. Now let's get to deck 2. Bullets are faster solve anyway. Your ability to improvise never fails to impress. No time for a breather. We've got to get to that modulator. Deck 2, wasn't it? Pardon me if I don't shed a tear over one of the console's minions. Let's get to deck 2 before we encounter more. Good thing we already have the credentials we need then. Reckon we could look for those access credentials if you wanted to avoid a fight. Sneaking around's always an option too. Let's search the body and hope we find something to help us access the modulator. You really lived up to the stories, didn't you, Commander? I'll make sure this one gets told too. We're safely off the Providence and out of range. Good luck, Commander. It was an honor and a privilege. I ever tell you I was born on a ship? Figures I'd punch my ticket aboard one too. At least there'd be less blood and screaming this time. Almost to the rift now. It's been an honor, Commander. Don't forget me, all right? And look after Val. I'm entrusting her to you. Almost to the rift now. Commander, you take good care of Val, all right? Shit. This guy's really airborne off his own fumes, ain't he? Whatever you plan to say, Commander, best make it quick. This room's on a hair trigger. It's true. Your matriarch suspected the Protectorate was doomed from the get-go. Reuben was mucking things up even before his mother's body was cold. Unsanctioned violence. Right. Because it's only good violence when it's committed by the state. Always a catch, ain't there? If he wants to sacrifice himself, I say let him. Arcadia's better off. And I'll be sure to burn every copy I find. Damn right. Commander's right. Protectorate's been burning its own for too long to stay warm. This war just made the flames more noticeable. Incognito's about to get a whole lot quieter. Augustine, the Protectorate was responsible for expanding the rift? Law. I'd ask why, but I can already guess the answer. Couldn't have said it better myself. This one's for all the lives you helped ruin. And for all the lives that'll be better off with you gone. Never envisaged I'd actually get to put a bullet in the console himself. Dreams really do come true. Here we are. Console's right through those doors. He's the last obstacle between us and that modulator. We've the schematics for the modulator. Worst comes to worst. Not that the console deserves it none, but if we can end things peaceably, we should try for it. Quit all your howling, Augustine. We've the schematics. Worst comes to worst. Can't use the modulator without having control of the ship anyhow. This might be a good time to resupply and reconnoiter. Reckon there's likely to be something around here that can give us an edge if our talks stall out. This guy's a politician, which means you might be able to reason with him, if you're of a mind to. Don't expect much in the way of concessions. He probably still thinks he's got the stronger position. Less fuss that way. Reckon you and I have very different definitions of easy. Shit. I really ought to have had Val give you one last look over before we got here. I'm sure I'd go gray before you did. I'll have your back. Either way, straightforward. I can get on board with that. Tyrants ain't generally known for their reasoning skills, but think what you will, Commander. You ask me? Console's not worth the air you'd waste saying hello. Let's just save time and give him a bullet. Yeah, well, I've seen how you try to talk folks down, so pardon me if I don't much trust you to keep a handle on the situation. You sure we can trust these two to get the job done? No offense, but they ain't the most, reliable sorts. Hear that, Augustine? No funny business or you'll be dealing with the endpoint herself. Going out doing what you love. We should all be so lucky. Living would be the worst punishment after all you've done. But someone's got to bite the bullet. Better you than anyone else. Can't think of anyone more capable to see this through to the end. But I'll miss you, Marisol. Lectures and all. Yes, Commander. Sorry. Got caught up in my own spin there for a minute. Well, it's got to get done, right? No point mulling over it. Void it. Might as well be me. Law knows I've got plenty to answer for. Should have known you were going to suggest that. Nothing like passing the bit off to someone else, right, Commander? Can't say I'm eager to throw my life away after I've finally just gotten it together. But if you ask me to do this, I won't balk. I'm ready to do whatever's necessary to protect you and the rest of the crew. I know there's more good I can do. I could be everything an Earth Directorate agent should be. Everything I always dreamed I could be. Too emotional? Was I too emotional when I helped you plant a bullet in Zeb? What he want don't much matter now. But why me? Why should I have to be the one to fall on the sword? Haven't I sacrificed enough? Bullshit. After everything you've already done for this colony. Ain't fair that it falls to you to jump on the grenade. I'd say Augustine's got this covered, but I've made that mistake before. It's been a privilege serving with you, Commander. I wouldn't trust Azza with a butter knife, let alone a large-scale rift modulator. Just wish that didn't mean you had to go too, Commander. If these readings are right, the rift's about to destabilize completely. This modulator ain't gonna do from this distance. Someone will have to fly it in close. Real close. In the serials, this is usually the point when someone heroically volunteers. Only makes sense that you leave the schematics with me, Commander. I'll get them to the Earth Directorate. Expected I'd feel more fearful, but I just feel quiet. Ready. Guess once the worst happens, doesn't leave much room for dread, does it? I will. You have my word. Guess this is goodbye then, Commander. Be sure those schematics end up in the right hands. And if you see Zeb again, tell him... he knows. Void it all! Can't help yourself, can you? You see a chance to play hero, you just don't even think twice. I've had your back since Horizon Point. Ain't about to stop now. Starting to cut it close here. What's the plan, Commander? It's okay, Val. You've already done more than your share. I don't like where this is headed. Got that right. If we don't do something here and now, won't be anyone left who can. You did the best you could. We all did. Giving yourself a whole lot of credit for doing the least. Auntie's choice never deserved you, Inez. Glad we had you on the team for as long as we did. I think we understand each other just fine. Always did. I'd be all talk if I didn't at least do my ample best to see the mission through. Maybe wait until I'm out of earshot before you start the auction, huh? I surely do. It's... all right, Commander. Don't need you fighting my battles. Not anymore. If you asked the Order, this was always where we were headed. Just glad we reached it together. Look after Val. She's got a few good years left in her yet. A corporate executive sacrificing herself for the greater good? Did I mix inhalers this morning? Consider us square then. For Horizon Point, that is. More than I can say for you. Ain't in it for the glory, Commander. Just the peace of mind. Count on the end point to get it done, huh? It's been an honor, Marisol. You may never have been the sanest among us, but today, you're damn sure the bravest. Horizon Point couldn't kill me the first time. Ain't about to let it have me on its second go-round. You really know how to rally the troops, huh? Knew it'd come down to us. Always does. Reckon they'll make a serial of this one day. A lone paladin facing down death for the sake of his friends. I'm honored to have counted you among mine. No room for error for something like that. Someone will have to be the human astrogator. Knew there'd be a catch. Something we didn't plan for. On the bright side, Tristan knows me 5 bits. No help for it. I'll take the schematics and get them to the Earth Directorate. Oh no! You can't just pull the pin on a grenade and expect me to be grateful for the handoff. Suppose saying I'll never forgive you for this doesn't pack much heat, since it's looking like I'm not long for this world, after all. Take the schematics and get out of here. I'll do what he's doing. Don't you worry about that. Go. Save your own skin. Seems what you're best at. You're not asking to borrow a can of paint, Commander. I won't say Azza's always done the right thing, but you forcing her to do this is just plain wrong, Commander. Commander, you take a kick to the head when I wasn't looking? After everything Tristan's risked for us. You should be ashamed. Commander, what in the void are you thinking, forcing Marisol to do this? Commander, what in the void are you thinking? Inez doesn't deserve this. Void me. Knew there'd be a catch. Sure hope you've got a plan to go along with that pep talk, Commander. No choice. Sure. That's what folks always say when they want you to bend and bow. But I'm not going quiet like this time, Commander. Commander, it's been an honor and a privilege. You really are the best the Directorate's got. Our damnation and salvation all in one. I'll never understand you, Augustine, but in spite of everything, I wouldn't take back our having met. I've already lost Zeb, Commander. If I had to mourn you too, ain't sure my ticket could take it. So, it's settled then. If you're going, then I'm coming with you. You asking me if I want to die? Answer's no. But I'm not about to watch you go to your death all by your lonesome neither. I'm not just going to stand idle while you go to your death. When I found you, I was just coming out of the dark. What'll I do when you're gone? That in order? Maybe it would. Won't be easy, but you've sure set one hell of an example to live by. Maybe if Zeb had lived, but don't think I have it in me anymore, being an agent like you mean. Anyway, I see you won't be swayed. So I'll spare you the sentiment, for better or worse. Guess this is goodbye then, Commander. Be sure those schematics end up in the right hands. I've given enough to Arcadia, to the Earth Directorate, to you. My life's mine. Ain't yours to spend as you like. Funny, I don't see you volunteering. Ever hear about leading by example? Go void yourself, Commander. Neither do I. Thought we were thicker than that. I'm the only one makes sense. No one else here's come as close to dying as I have. Call it practice. I could do this, Commander. I want to. Well, when you put it that way, how can I say no? You want me to put it into plain speech? Fine. I ain't keen on dying. Please, don't ask me to do this. Don't think I'm the one being selfish here. Mighty relieved to hear that, Commander. And for what it's worth, the feeling's mutual. I'm not going to argue the decision, but don't think you're going to fling that junior comment at me without ricochet. We'll talk later. Yes, Commander. Of course it does. Sorry. Got caught up in my own spin there for a minute. Can't lament a thing I never had a chance of getting. Sorry? What? Why? I'm the only one makes sense. No one else here's come as close to dying as I have. Call it practice. I am willing and able, Commander. More than willing. I want to do this. I need to. I'd have rather gone out at Horizon Point. At least that death would have served a void damn purpose. After everything, that's your big takeaway. Unbelievable. Real mature, Commander. You're an inspiration to us all. Never been more grateful to have you on the team, Asa. Thank you. Don't worry. We'll use them and the process rift data to mass-produce modulators that can be operated at a safe distance. Rifts will no longer be a problem. You do what needs doing, Commander. Target's too far! Straight away! It's gonna blow! They're tossing poppers at us! On your toes. Commander, watch your vitals! The idea is to kill them before you die. Don't make me bury another agent! Come at me! You lot couldn't hit the broadside of a freighter! Appreciate a little help, Commander. Soften them up. Privacy, please. Dropping smoke. Hostile spotted. Take them out! Hit them hard! Let's get them over with! Fastest way forward is through! Let's wreck them! Let's skip the diplomacy. Learn this on Triangulum. Y'all need to give us some space. Back off! Take a load off. Smoke break. Make a cover. How about some cloud cover? Popping smoke. Now you see me. Now you don't. Going out of sight. Don't mind me. Troublemaker approaching. I see an unfriendly sort. Got my lamps on an unfriendly. Spy movement. Aye, aye, Commander. You got it. Can do. Gotta scoot closer. Reckon they're out of range. Nothing in range. Not getting up without help, Commander. Not walking this off. Stand me back up. Hey, got a distraction for you. I'm the one you need to worry about. Over here. Free hole in the head. Let me know when you need a distraction. Guns cocked and loaded. Just give the signal. Ready to waste them. On your command. Give the order and I'll take care of them, Commander. Let's dispense with the how do you do's. Hey, easy on the actuators. Watch where you point that thing. You're getting rusty there, Commander. Hey, save that for the wrongdoers. You twisted my valve, Commander. Explosive device, skedaddle! Whoa, hot potato! Check enemy light just turned on. Got troublemakers. Got eyes on some no-goods. Hostiles near. Look at a few courts low, Commander. How are you still upright over there? Your insides are leaking outside, Commander. Enemy approximating in our vicinity, Commander. Dying over here. Gotta fix me up first. I'm a little busy bleeding out if you haven't noticed. Ain't exactly in fighting shape at the moment. Sorry, ain't ready yet. These things take time, Commander. Love to, but I'm not ready. Hit what in the where now? Can't just shoot in the thin air. No target. Trigger finger's still tired. Nobody around. No agent left behind. Up and at 'em. Get up. You spent enough time on ice. Look at me. Patching you up like a regular docbot. There you go. Good as new-ish. Bet if I go unseen. They did me in. Help me out. Lights flashing before my eyes, Commander. Revive me. Got some bad company. Enemy about. I'm locked and stocked. Ready to take the heat off you, Commander. Just say when. Grenade! You bet. Ain't recharged. Ain't nothing there. Eyes up. Hostiles. Coming up on some foes. Knew you had my back. Thanks, Commander. Back in the fight. I'm up. Owe you one. Oh, yeah? Do they know that? Hell must have frozen over when I wasn't looking, because that's a halfway sensible idea. Can't believe I'm saying this, but Az has got a point. She heads back to the ship, and maybe we deprive the Dawn of one more reason to shoot us. Nope, not touching that bait. I like to keep my insides on my inside. Thank you. Well, you'd be the expert. I wasn't alone for the whole time, and I wasn't stranded. Technically. I was on a mission. But you're right. It wasn't easy. Thanks for the cheerful reminder. Can you stop? If you want to characterize it that way, sure. I'd call it crazed gibbering myself. I thought you were just mocking me. Why don't you go find a nice rift to throw yourself into? Save me the headache of chucking you out the airlock once we're back at the ship. Hate that you're having to ask, but yes, I do. Haven't you ever talked to a pet like they could understand you? Val ain't a pet, of course, but it's kind of like that. Explains a lot. Wonder if you'd have turned out different if you had been a little less lonely at the start. Thanks? New age of dying painfully, you mean? Or are you talking about the peace after that, when the universe is devoid of all life? No, just you and your knife. Mostly the knife. Well, assuming you do wake up on the wrong side of the bunk one day, I'd appreciate a warning, like a 5-minute head start. You make it sound like I'm some lost gosling tagging along. It ain't like that. The commander and I are equals. We're both after the same thing. Saving Arcadia. What's your excuse? Well, then, there you go. You've your reasons, and I've mine. Thank law for that. Now let's see if it sticks. Maybe I just like them. That's so strange. Commander and I see eye to eye on most things, and we've been through a lot together. Ain't no one I'd rather have watching my back. I'm dedicated to the mission. The commander just comes with it. Ain't sure I deserve any accommodations for just keeping the lights on. Really? You don't think it's too, morbid? Someone more well-adjusted would have probably moved on. Maybe on account of them being a giant, malignant corporate entity? Reminds me of the one I grew up under. And that ain't a compliment. I'm sorry, what's there to know? I mean, apart from her bottomless greed and bad hairdo. You setting up for a joke here, C-Long? Maybe there were some hard days. But I still had a mission. And doing the work felt like the only way to honor the dead. All that's past, though. And probably best left there. I'm planning to work my way up, but not through pushing papers. The Earth Directorate needs less bureaucracy and more boots on the ground. Only way to really help folks. Like there's hot coals under my skin ready to catch. You definitely just made that up. That? Wow. Surely that's not the kind of trivia Auntie wants shared around. Do I seem like your target demographic? Law be damned. You're right. I did enjoy that fact. You aiming to get a little shrine yourself once you pass on? Then you might ought to know better than to throw in with Annie's. They're just like those bit-pinching bastards on Triangulum. If the Earth Directorate hadn't stepped in, all respect and Nez, you can spare me the pep talk. I'm good. Take, Talsetti, for instance. I've heard those folks might need a lending hand to get out from under the corporate fist. So I've heard. Also heard if you drink enough of the stuff, it can cause minor convulsions. Wouldn't dream of touching down without you alongside. No, suppose not. But you've got choices now. Time for excuses is past. Next, she'll tell me she eats 4 square meals a day, all consisting of 60 bits. No, please. I can't take many more of these revelations. I was a fool to let myself get taken in by an organization claiming to have all the answers. Never questioning. Just head down, taking orders. Never again. Suppose you, pig, didn't make the cut? Well, since this is a cysty pig we're talking about, how about Fester? You'd have better luck asking Azza. Sure. If you have the time to stand around listening to the honorable history of whatever name he conjures up. It's acceptable when we do it because the people ask for our intervention. That's kind of the whole point of the Earth Directorate. I ain't going to be lectured by a corporatist. Find someone else to bluster at. Freedom at the point of a gun don't strike you as a mite forceful? Inez, you holding up okay? After what happened in the lab, I mean? Can't imagine you ever being the uncertain type, Marisol. Probably be pushing up puff wheat. Just another industrial accident casualty in some slipshod shipbuilding factory. Not to put too fine a point on it. Not to worry. I know my way around a retro rocket gimbal and a compression coil. Val can attest to that. Lettered fields. No. Always been keen on ship engines, though. Skip drives, too. And how. They always arrived pre-assembled back in my factory days. We just mounted them to the bulkhead and moved on. I'd love to crack one open and see what makes it tick. Val was there for me through my worst years. Kept me flying straight and level. I did the same for her, in a more literal sense. We've always been able to count on each other. Strength in numbers, right? That's a mite insensitive to ask somebody you just met, Marisol. You don't hear me asking about those poor hole-sized specs you strap on your head. Now that you mention it, what do you use as a power source? How do you focus all the lenses for stereoscopic vision? Ooh, how many servos per aperture? Thank you, Marisol. I hope you're right. Earth Directorate ain't perfect, but they did right by me once. I know they can still do right by a lot of folks. In the meantime, I aim to help those who need help. If I'm lucky, maybe I'll even get the chance to send some greedy robber barons back to their boardrooms dripping in red. Not everything's a math problem, Marisol. In this case, it's real simple. The Earth Directorate is just another bloated bureaucracy failing to help the people who need it most. I'm lucky the commander helped me see the truth. Who knows how long I'd have continued to stick it out. Like a damn fool. Consider me subtracted from the Directorate's roster then. And good riddance. Whoa, Val! Watch where you're pointing that shooter of yours. You've been pitching a little uneven lately. You ever wonder what your life would have been like if you'd been born outside of Arcadia? Couldn't help but notice that book collection of yours. Never expected an assassin to be so well read. I can feel your lamps on me, Azza. Just say whatever's going on in that blendered brain pan of yours. Hope you're settling into the cognito all right. You got everything you need? I mean, your aim's been off. Wouldn't want me or the good commander here catching any strays. What I mean is, everything about your life was predetermined. You never had any choices. That doesn't bother you? This is one of those moments when I can't tell whether or not you're having me over. Forget I asked. I've got to introduce you to this novel appliance, name of a refrigerator. You can store and draw from it without ever paying a bit. What was I saying? Oh, right. Feels good to be back in the saddle, don't it, Val? Kind of reminds me of our days in Nyx's orbit, dodging protectorate patrols. You remember that? Ah, well. That's all right, Val. I'll just have to do the remembering for both of us. Been noticing a lot of screws going missing of late on board the ship. You wouldn't happen to know anything about that, would you? Let me rephrase. Have you been collecting screws for some reason? That rift sure ain't getting smaller. You can sound less excited about it. So, what's an arbiter like to do to keep the horrors at bay? I'm touched you go out of your way, but I was asking what you do for fun. Apart from doling out death sentences. I've been cogitating on that conversation we had earlier. No. Thanks. About regretting my choices. It's natural to make mistakes and to feel some kind of way about their effects. What the Protectorate does robs folks of what should be a fundamental human experience. Before, you asked me about the crew I lost at Horizon Point. I don't talk about them much. But maybe I should. Helen, Eric, Wade. They were good people, and they deserve to be remembered, much as they can be. Reckon that's doable. Though I found reminiscing is best done over a shared meal. I don't suppose you've got a liking for overdone spratwurst. Bet you've got a few stories from your time with the Department of Preemptive Causal Redirection that would raise flesh. Ain't exactly the daring do I was thinking of. Definitely lacking in body count and close calls. You know, something more fitting a cereal. I've got to say, I can't imagine working with someone claiming they can predict the future and not want to strangle them or myself after a day. No offense. Huh. You know, that actually doesn't sound half bad. Maybe we ought to have made Anna East an offer to stick around. You've completed more turns around a sun than anyone else on this crew. What do you think it's all for? Life, death, purpose of it all. Do you really think the Order's right about humanity being on some predetermined path, ending all sewn up before the start? That paint you've been using on the walls in your quarters, it had better wash out. Law. Eric would keel over if he saw the state of his old room. I know we ain't the best of pals, and my opinion probably means less than squat, but you do. High Corroder. Void Chief. Wait, no. I've got it. Niles Supreme. Just trying to figure out what we should call you now that you're in charge of the Glorious Dawn. You know, to avoid getting disassembled for disrespect. Val says you turned her down for a massage. Yeah, I've been on the receiving end of one of those massages too. Honestly, you made the right choice. So, Rasmussen's gotten his reward. How are you feeling about it? Taking a life's never an easy choice. But for what it's worth, I think you did the right thing. Galaxy's better off without him and his numerous ethics violations. Say, Inez, you ever think about joining the Earth Directorate? I'm being serious. The Earth Directorate could use a straight shooter like you. And more agents who know how to close wounds instead of opening them? Well, that'd be swell too. Now that the grafting program has been ended for good, and fair riddance to it. What comes next? I don't know about that. You've sure taught me a few things. So you spared Rasmussen. Didn't see that turn coming. How are you feeling about it? Truth be told, I expected you to give that slimy bastard his comeuppance. But maybe this way's better. Hey, Inez. Maybe it's none of my business, but I just wanted to say, wasn't right how the commander handled Rasmussen. Your call should have been respected. Heard from Val you've been fussing with your graft. Well, not her exact words, but I read between the lines. Everything, all right? I hear that. I still have these law-awful phantom twinges in my arm and leg even now. Sometimes I hear this high-pitched ringing in my bad ear, too. Distracting as hell. About earlier. I say something wrong? When I made mention of your graft, that is. That sounds a fair amount more appealing than any of Val's solutions. She really is a little too happy-go-lucky with a needle sometimes. Must be strange working with the enemy. Oh, no reason. I don't give Tristan Arbiter row. Much thought myself. Can't believe after everything that happened to you and Ortiz and others, you took one look at the grafting program and said, yes, please, I'd like another. You're placing reliance on reforms that ain't gonna stick. Now when folks with more power and bits decide they want buy-in, people are gonna get hurt. And I think you know it. That's different. We had to take away the Protectorate's advantage. Oh, that's not what I was... Never mind. Hey, you don't gotta say more. Water under the bridge. But also, I understand what it's like, dealing with the pain. That's all I was trying to get at before. You know what? Forget I said anything. You're doing great. It's a figure of speech, Val. All right, Val, now seems as good a time as any to test how your personality module's functioning. Why don't we start simple? Val, how's the weather today? Let me stop you right there. Well, guess that's what I get for trying to hack together your last rebuild with Protectorate parts. Thanks. That helped. I'll never buy the idea that the Protectorate's concerned with harm reduction, but fair point about Auntie's choice. Maybe freedom ought to have some limits. Somewhere. I may have misjudged you. For a Protectorate flunky, you've still got one or two qualities to commend you. Are you that starved for compliments? Like in some kind of healthy, open lines of communication way? Law, no. I was lucky to get a pat on the back in training. I'm a little surprised you're used to different. All right, I have to know. What are you doing to stay that fit? Is it a special regimen, midnight sacrifices? What? I might just take you up on that offer. I don't bemoan anything. I reflect a reasonable amount. I don't expect you to understand. If you tried the same, it'd likely fry whatever two-node circuit you call a conscience. Ready to ask you that actual question now. You think anything we're doing right now actually matters? You ever wish you could go back in time and do things over? Ate something this morning that's really fighting me. But, yeah, what you said. Thanks, Marisol. I'll try. You might be a few short of a complete circuit, but you don't strike me as simple. How in the blazes did you ever fall in with a cult? Wrecking all the stabbing probably has something to do with it too. Yeah, well, can't fault a fella for trying. Never you mind. Now that you're clear of the cult, suppose you'll need some other unhinged pastime. So what's next? Wait, don't tell me. Competitive Crabble races. No. Woolly cheese rolling. A bit of high-stakes mumbly peg. What's with all the landmines you corporatists have littered about? Pretty sloppy style of warfare, if you ask me. Suppose collateral damage don't mean much to Auntie. Personally, I spy a mine, I'm unloading from 40 paces. Eden's hinterlands would be more pleasant if Auntie didn't airdrop them raptidons willy-nilly. Sure makes getting from A to B a pain. Better for them, sure. Not so much for us. Right. Poor Auntie. Her hands were tied. I heard you all bred the raps for diet toothpaste and such originally. Only taught them to heal and kill later. So what sort of things are you into when you're not, assassinating colleagues with mathematical efficiency? Oh, is that akin to propulsion mechanics? Because I can field strip and oxidize a manifold blindfolded in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. Merciful law, no need to condescend. Ever hear of small talk? You do know you tend to make folks a mite uncomfortable, right? No. Huh. Perhaps I misreckoned you. We'll have to spend more time together before I'm sure, though. Oh, shoot. Just realized I'm overdue to perform maintenance on my rotator cuff actuator. No flay date for me today. Sorry. Rain check, though. I just have to ask, what makes you think you're judge, jurist, and executioner? So you just make up the rules as you go along? Sounds like a pretty authoritarian way to keep law and order. Bet you even thought that retort clever. What we offer is actual help, not just control dressed up as order. That's the difference. Ain't sure why you're so broken up over losing your Auntie's choice contract. You're your own boss now. No one yanking your chain. That sounds pretty good to me. Oh, believe me, I know more than you think. But you're with us now. We're a team. No bottom rungs in this crew. Been meaning to ask you, Marisol. Back when we first met, You said something about me seeming sad. What was that about? Sure, I can get a little ruminative, but so what if I get caught up in the past? Who doesn't find themselves returning to the same old stories, hoping for a different ending? I suppose we might be. Let me get back to you on that. No, never. Fancy the consul thinks of himself in much the same way. Minus the sovereign bit, of course. Sounds to me like you lot just make up the rules as you go. Should we wash the paint off your walls? I mean, now that you're no longer part of the cult. Could have gone without knowing that. Well, at least it's decorative, I guess. All right. Bad jokes. Just, look, I know how it can feel when your future plans get disrupted. I'm here if you need help. Brainstorming, I mean. Let's not get too crazy. Now that you're clear of the cult, suppose you'll need some other pastime. Suppose you'll need some other pastime now that you've pretty much put the cult behind you. You're starting to slouch a bit there, Commander. No harm in taking a breather if you need one. Make sure you're staying hydrated, too. Don't want you passing out now. Listen to me. I'm starting to sound like Val. This unit recommends hourly breaks to prevent exhaustion and/or cardiac arrest. This war's really bringing out the worst on all sides, ain't it? Then again, never did see a conflict that made all parties involved look good. Not that I don't love spending my one precious life listening to Auntie's Choice Radio, but think you could change the wireless to something else. Protectorate are sorry bastards, but damn me if they don't know how to turn out a tune. This is nice. Just the two of us kicking about. Kind of feels like being in a Commander Zane and Buddy serial. I'm Zane, of course. Sometimes I think Arcadia is never going to change, but we have to keep operating like it can. Wanted to apologize if you heard me yowling the other night. Dropped a model piece a week ago and, well, let's just say my foot found it before my lamps did. You know, this colony's not half bad when folks ain't shooting at us. Think I need to lay off the snacks before bed. 50-50 chance, too. But seriously, don't overdo it. Ain't no one you've got to impress. You been having any strange dreams lately, Commander? Because mine sure have been something. Take last night. Had this one about a talking cysty pig. He was doing his utmost to help out around the cognito, but it wasn't going well. Hooves, you know? Saw one of your plants was looking a little dry, so I topped it up. Sorry. Didn't mean to cause you more work. Never did have much of a green thumb. You got something to say, Inez? Notice you've been watching me all day. Sorry if I woke you. I'll take that under advisement. Thanks. Wasn't by choice, but I managed just fine on my own. Thanks? I'm surprised you noticed, actually. In a manner of speaking. The Earth Directorate enforces the laws in the colonies when their leaders refuse to, or twist them to their own ends. We answer only to ourselves. Never really knew my folks. They went young. I was passed between other relations, all trying to do their best to raise an orphan kid. But I was on my own. A lot. Don't know what you're on about. Ship runs. She's fine. Is that a serious question? First on the draw is last in his grave. I'm proud of my skill, but I wouldn't say I take pleasure from the kill. Not like some. Didn't have much of an alternative. After all, I hadn't met Arcadia's friendliest arbiter yet. Oh, yeah. Lost 4 members of my team. Well, I guess 3. Got one back recently. Well, keeping her in the right octave involved weeks of reconnaissance, a midnight infiltration of a protectorate township, and inflicting unmentionable violence to a vendor mech. You missed the parents died part? Then again, maybe that don't mean much in the protectorate. Folks go missing all the time, don't they? I've done my best, all right? If you think you can do better, by all means, run yourself ragged keeping up with the dust mice. Just stay clear of my bunk. That space is mine. Oh, there is this one arbiter. He can be a little dense at times, but he's proven fairly reliable in a fight. I'd rather not talk about it, if it's all the same. Don't try to act like that's a foreign concept to you. Ain't honor and duty an arbiter's whole thing? I'm not much of a reader these days, though I do have a few worn issues of Commander Zane and Buddy I like to flip through every now and then. Sure. I suppose Honor's Captive could conceivably be about honor and, restraint. Like the cover of that one myself. What about you? What's an arbiter read in his off hours? Nab the right part, though. Anything for my girl. The Earth Directorate can hang, for all I care. It's fine. I know you didn't mean anything by it. You were only trying to help out in your own finicky way. I was being overly precious. She's been the only home I've known for the past 10 years, and I haven't always cared for her as she deserves. Not for lack of desire, but energy, I guess. Will. It's tough being reminded of my own lack of discipline. Might sound a bit strange, but I've always found comfort in the smell of fuel. Reminds me of home, I guess. Thought I caught a whiff of something fine and floral the other day. Can't wait to tell Val. She thought I was having a stroke. What can I say? I like to learn. And a good teacher. Don't forget that part. We've talked about this, Val. Ain't polite airing folks' private health information in front of others. Uh-huh. What prompted this? All right. I'll take the damn supplements. The normal ones. And maybe I'll examine your courtesy settings while I'm at it. Oh, thanks. But I didn't request a report. Nothing out there. Tristan's just been putting me through the paces of some special protectorate exercise routine. It's been good, honestly. Oh, shit, delete that. It's most likely to have outdated information anyway. Time for lying low is over, Val. Can't afford to be coy when the world's ending. This much of a crowd's not likely to keep a low profile. Someone ought to head back to mind the ship. I didn't mean me, but all right. I see where your head's at. Keep safe out there. Spoken like a true corporate drone. Can't even see the wrong that's been done to you. The incognito. And before you ask, I didn't choose the name. All right, then. What would you call her? Fairfield's new corporate overlords wasted no time with the rebranding, huh? It's flashy. I'll give him that. Hard to imagine a fresh coat of paint's gonna turn many coats, though. Take a look at those corpses they've got strung up. Wait. Some aren't dead yet. Didn't really need to know that. Let's just respect the dead or very slowly dying, shall we? Got an odd shape to it, this station. In simpler terms, Val. Not while we're in it, I hope. Let's keep your lamps lit for wildlife. I swear that wasn't planned. What's that ahead? Some kind of staging area? Don't bases usually have, I don't know, walls? And more soldiers to defend them? You having some kind of mental judder? Should I go for Val? The incognito isn't some saltuna runner. She's an Earth Directorate freighter equipped with this. You know what? I can see why you didn't go into marketing. Mm-hmm. Sure. You cogitate on that at your leisure. We should keep moving, Commander. Now's not really the time for a chat. You need something? What is it? All right, but we best do this quick. I'll see what I can do. Still feel we ought to have done something more for Helen. Well, at least she seemed peaceful like there at the end. I keep thinking of things I should have said to Helen. Too late now. Ain't sure I'd want DeVries at my deathbed, but suppose it's better than dying alone. Barely. Never thought I'd see the day when DeVries did the right thing. But Helen deserves a proper send-off. Glad we could at least grant her that. This is it, Commander. Only thing standing between us and saving Arcadia is a single dastardly villain. Feels almost quaint after everything else, don't it? Right behind you. Best we focus on dealing with that rift before we lose the option to. Can't believe I wasted so many years sitting on my hands when I could have been out there making corpses of them that most deserve it. This is the mission we should have been on from the moment the Earth Directorate dropped us into the system. Liberating Arcadia from its despots. Have to admit, part of me still wishes I'd had a chance to tie up loose ends. But mission comes first, don't it? Read you loud and clear, Commander. It's high past time we give the Consul his reward. Right. What's a few regrets compared to the colony's survival? Cheerful thought. Guess the stars just didn't align, huh? Sure. Let's go with that. Yeah. Vision's never been clearer. That's the damn truth. I could have done without the 10-year interlude. But sure. You know, back in the day, reading tales of all your daring do's, never could have imagined myself fighting alongside you. Not just as a fellow agent, but also a friend. Won't pretend we've always seen eye to eye. You can be a nasty piece of work sometimes, but that's probably exactly what we need right now. Someone who won't flinch. Ain't gonna wax poetic now. No time for it. But I will say this. You've been a good leader. I don't regret following you, Commander. Whatever happens next. Sure don't hurt, though, does it? You sound like Tristan. More honor still in taking out the cause of all this suffering at its source, I'd say. Funny how life turns out. All right. Enough jawing. Let's show the Consul to his reward. Law knows it's long past due. I think of it as more of a group effort, but you're welcome. Looking low on ammo there, Commander. I could help you whip something up. Can't have our fearless leader firing on empty. Let's get to crafting. Unless you plan on conjuring ammo from the Aether, we ought to get to crafting some. Happy to assist in crafting more ammo if you need it. You sure do go through ammo, don't you? Not to worry. We can always craft us more. This Marisol. Tell me I'm not the only one who gets a chill whenever she's around. Like someone paying my gravesite dues. She's certainly capable. And I'm glad she's on our side, but reckon we can actually trust her? Hey, I know a killer when I see one. Call it survivor's instinct. Speaking figuratively, Commander, reminds me of an instructor I had at the academy. A real hard ass. Have recruits in tears by the end of every day. Not me, of course. Impresses me you can even say that with a straight face after what happened to us at Horizon Point. You haven't changed a whit from the first time I met you. Although, guess that's not saying much. Horizon Point must feel like yesterday to you. Past decade's not been much to write home about. If it makes you feel better, moving right along. I can respect it. Do me a favor. Next time you have that dream, give Augustine a bullet for me. Sorry. Now I've gotten us off track. Yeah. I have days like that too. Understood, Commander. Just tread lightly. Hard to cross back over once you've picked a side. Victor wasn't exactly the partner in crime I envisioned DeVries to have. I'm glad we were able to show him a little grace. DeVries obviously manipulated him into acting against his conscience. I don't envy anyone in the Order's janitorial sciences. They're gonna have a hell of a time scraping him off the walls. And the floors. And the ceiling. And DeVries had him building a bomb. She obviously manipulated him into acting against his conscience. But he didn't leave us room to show him any grace neither. You ever wonder what might have happened if DeVries had let us in on her initial plan? Surely we wouldn't have been taken in by her rhetoric like Victor. Right? Someone with a little more grit. That man back there? Reckon a tough crossword puzzle would have eventually sent him over the edge, even if we hadn't come along. Reckon a tough crossword puzzle would have eventually sent him over the edge, even if we hadn't come along. And that right there is why I run a count of all of our incendiary devices every night before lights out. You should have met her before Horizon Point. She was really something. No, yeah, of course. Stupid question. Hotshot Earth Directorate agent swoops in to liberate your colony, sets you on a new exciting path, and you're telling me you wouldn't have been a bit smitten? Good law. I was a kid with a crush, like you said. It wasn't serious. If anything, I wanted to be DeVries. After Triangulum, all I wanted was to do for other colonies what Augustine had done for mine. Still do, if I'm honest. It's just, I look at someone like Victor and see the trap I might have fallen into. I've got some thoughts about what happened with Victor, when you've the time. True. But DeVries is still DeVries. Yeah, but the shrapnel of her plot got me anyway. I know. You've always looked out for me. Been the case ever since you first gave me advice about being a good agent. Seems a lifetime ago now, doesn't it? No offense, Commander, but you didn't exactly seem keen on looking out for me way back when. She's good at deconstructing folks, uncovering their points of failure. She'd have known I had my heart set on being a hero. DeVries always was good at deconstructing folks, uncovering their points of failure. She'd have known I had my heart set on being a hero. Sure. But are you changing for the better? Because I'm not sure I've seen it. Suppose you're proof they can. That's not exactly how I remember it, but I won't argue the point. Oh, I'm not worried. Didn't mean to give you that impression, Commander. That business with Victor just had me cogitating on the past. Of course, DeVries is proof that change should go in the opposite direction, too. Trying anyway. Thanks for letting me wax for a bit. We can get back to what we were doing now. Unless there was something else you needed. I will say, it's a lot easier to do just that nowadays. With you around, that is. Maybe not. Past 10 years have more or less proven that out. Marisol's obviously got her own agenda. We were betrayed by someone with ties to the Order before. I just want to make sure that doesn't happen again. That's for the best, I think. Oh yeah? What's that? Exactly. No harm in taking precautions, right? Easy for you to say. You've still got all the parts you started that mission with. I've said my piece. Do with it what you will. If you're sure. Just try to come back in one piece, all right? The alternative ain't an experience I'd recommend. Being this close to DeVries feels like we're finally on track to set the universe aright. Sure hope Val isn't missing us something fierce back on the ship. Can't get that Andy's Choice jingle out of my head. Hey, if I start humming it, you do what you gotta. Anyway, need something, Commander? Oh yeah? What's needling you? I appreciate the concern. Won't lie, had some hard years. Got caught up in a few lost causes, the particulars of which I'd rather not go into now, if it's all the same. Fair point. Guess Horizon Point didn't exactly foster a lasting fellowship, did it? Why, Commander, you mean to tell me you don't enjoy being jettisoned into space and left for dead? Color me stupefied. All I heard about this moon called Eden. Ain't much lived up to the name, though. All jesting aside, what's there to tell? Spent the first year getting back up on my feet, literally. Been mostly laying low since then, maintaining my cover. Whoa. Too soon, Commander. Not always. Went a couple of stretches there on low power to avoid detection from Protectorate patrols. I usually shut her down for a few cycles then. The way you're gawping at me right now makes me think I answered that question wrong. Oh, and Val's been stalling less since I patched her acclimator. Ship doesn't smell anymore. That's about it. Spratwurst, be pretty horrifying if I wasn't. I was trying to teach myself some new skills in the galley. Val got it into her hardware. I needed a hobby. I figured Spratwurst ain't an easy meal to mess up. Well, I learned about 20 ways how not to fix a worst. Only wish I'd known you were out there. I'd have come sooner. Guess that's one more thing we can thank our good pal DeVries for next time we lay lamps on her. I found you. Nothing like a small grease fire in space to get the vitals pumping. Yeah, I figured. That's why I didn't say anything about it before. Just pay no mind to that odd scarring in the galley. I'm still working on getting that stain out. Arcadia's a tinderbox right now. War spun up folks on all sides, and stepping into trouble is easier than ever. And that's not even touching on the rift. Same as you. Dumb luck. Barely made it back to the ship on my own power. Don't much recall after that. Val tells me I was in a bad way. I needed an honest-to-law doctor. Yeah, figure they'll leave that episode out of the serials. Consider yourself lucky you got to skip ahead to the cliffhanger. Found one on Eden willing to patch me up. I'm not adding color when I say he saved my life. Most Protectorate would have snubbed me for bleeding out without the Sovereign's permit. The people in this colony need us, Commander. Even if they don't know it yet. This was before the invasion. Not to say there wasn't some risk, what with the Sentinels and all, but it ain't like it is now. Is it me, or has my ankle been squeaking? You can hear it too, right? Must be the damn rotator again. No offense to Val, but it's real nice having someone watching my back who ain't in constant need of recalibration. The Protectorate used to believe they were untouchable. Now they know they're mortal same as the rest of us. That's some hard gravity to pull. Sure, we're a tight pair, but it's nothing unhealthy like you're slanting at. Val's got me out of more scrapes than I can count. She can be a little Delphic at times, but she'll grow on you. Promise. What can I say? Val got all the charm. I got all the regrets. Best keep one eye open then, in case Val decides you're looking a little peaked and gives you a nutraceutical shot. Nito's a lot bigger than you'd expect. No point jawing about history when our ex-agent friend is out there doing her damnedest to ruin the future. Speaking of, we should probably get back to it. Most Valerie units have an operating life of only a few years, but that's on account of it being more cost-effective to replace rather than repair. I don't share that philosophy, personally. You don't junk someone just because one of their parts stops working right. You do whatever it takes to get them up and running again. Just twisting your valve, Commander. Val can only stick you without your consent while operating under her Good Samaritan protocol. And you'd have to be unconscious for that. Sure. Always happy to tool around for a bit. What did you have in mind? That's when I found Zebulon. Or he found me. I'd lost a lot of blood, so it's all behind the haze now. Me? Wait, that sounds like where Zeb's holed up. Odd timing. I wanted to jaw about this, actually. There's a man staying in that shop. Zebulon Tran. He's the doctor who saved my life after Horizon Point. Ex-Protectorate. I worry Zeb's in over his head with all of this. Good thing we showed up when we did. We should get the cipher back to Zeb. Soon as we can. Seeing Zeb again went different than I expected. Not that I had high hopes for tears and confetti, but damn. Yes and no. There's a shadow over him wasn't there before. A meanness. It's difficult to describe. Even tougher to be on the receiving end. That's appreciated, Commander. Understood. You won't catch me slacking in reverie. Not whilst there's still a colony to save. Was there anything else you needed? Don't you think I know that? Maybe I ought to apologize straight away. But I'm not convinced I did the wrong thing, leaving. Had I stayed, who knows? Likely I'd have gotten us both killed. I surely wouldn't be opposed. Reckon you can put my name on a cake too? Just aside, I must have imagined how that conversation was going to go a dozen times over the years. Never counted on Zebulon being so barbed. Anyway, I appreciate the check-in, Commander. Let's just say my ambitions were bigger than my talents after I recovered from Horizon Point. Still believed I could change the world back then. I wasn't. Yes, Commander. If you're talking Horizon Point, those were extenuating circumstances. Like hell if I'll take the credit for DeVries' body count. That's fair. Might have left him a note or something. I was just worried I'd lose my nerve, but you have a point. Wasn't right of me to just up and split. Need some alone time for now. Commander, never thought I'd see the day the Order stoops so low as to pal around with Auntie's choice. Because that's just what the galaxy needs. A corporation empowered by intellectuals, and a religion now in bed with the almighty bit. Nothing can go wrong there. I know your intentions were good, but do you really see these two staying cozy past war's end? True, and that's no small consolation. This merger, however temporary, will save lives. No buts about it. You did good, Commander. That's fine. Said what I needed to anyway, or magnify them. The Order and Antis are like water and oil. If they've come together, something's probably wrong. Someone's been spending a little too much time around Azza. Never been much of a fan of surprises. But who knows? This merger's already saving lives, so I suppose it was worth the effort. Nicely done, Commander. Whoa, easy now. No need to blow a gasket. I was just winding you up a little. Been mulling over that business with Ruth. For as much as our Lady of Numbers could predict the future, Clearly, she never saw us coming. If anything, I consider this payback for Horizon Point. No, she wasn't directly responsible, but she should have kept her people on a tighter leash. That's the sort of question you ask before pulling the trigger. Good energy, Commander. Might misplace, but points for trying. Shit rolls downhill. The Order's arrogance might not have started with Ruth, but she certainly continued it. Horizon Point might never have happened with someone else in charge. Look, I had my qualms with Ruth, but never to the point of wishing harm on her. Would have preferred having her as an ally rather than a tally, but it's done. Best to move on. I sure won't be losing winks over her. That's for damn sure. I say the armor did most of the work. Don't mind me. Just readying my kernels for the power struggle that's about to tear Auntie's choice apart. I'll admit, the coup caught me on the back foot. Always figured the console for a power snatcher, but I'd never put bits down on him betraying the Sovereign. They seem so tight-knit. Just think about all those posters of the pair of them that'll have to change now. A real crying shame. Me? Rejoicing over a tyrant squabble? Never. I'd say it's about as likely as a sprat learning the polka. Sure does save on ammunition. The Sovereign's misfortune is our gain, far as I'm concerned. The console might be projecting strength, but by my reckon, Protectorate's more unstable now than ever before. Sure, by most accounts. But that's looking at the glass half empty. Now that Cleo's dead, a new Cleo'll need choosing. It's going to get ugly. Whether the corporation in its current iteration even survives remains to be seen. I'd be surprised if they couldn't. And disappointed. Arcadia had its troubles prior to the invasion, but the only thing worse than living in a dictatorship at peace is living in one at war. Are you serious, Commander? Of course. Taking out malefactors like Cleo is practically the first bullet point in the agent's guide. She started all this too, don't forget. I don't know about that. Might have started to smell after a few days. You're edging up on creepy there, Commander. That is lucky. For you. Lot less so for the rest of us, I'd imagine. Reckon that ship's already taken flight, Commander, but hey, the next CEO we dispatch who's revealed to be naught but a floating head, I'll be sure to save the jar for you. Leaning a bit much into the mad scientist persona these days, don't you think? Really gotta start locking my quarters at night. I'm just gonna come right out and say it. You're starting to worry me, Commander. When I first got assigned to your team, I was beside myself with excitement. Since then, you've really proven yourself every bit of the legend I'd hoped you would be. Instead, you seem aimed at doing what you want and void the consequences. Mission or no, that ain't a path I see myself following much longer. Won't lie, I'm relieved to hear you say that. But words alone aren't enough. You need to put in the work. Be better. Maybe once that firm tone would have had an effect. But I'm not some directorate pup you can bring to heel anymore. Look, prove yourself the leader I know you can be, and I'll be there right beside you, whatever mayhem comes. But if you can't turn things around, then I'm gone. It's that simple. I'm not challenging your authority, Commander. I want to follow orders, but you're not making it easy. I've come to respect you, Commander. Not just as a leader, but as a, as a friend, too. Always up for a little backfence talk, though I'm guessing you don't mean Val. Sure thing. I trust you've got particulars in mind. Now, don't go making a big ballyhoo about it, but I like Inez a lot. She's got far more depth than I ever expected from a logo wearer like her. I'll admit, I'm warming on her. She reminds me of some of the folks I grew up with back on Triangulum. Tough, capable, knows her value, and won't settle for a bit less. Can't say I know her well enough to have much in the way of an opinion. She seems capable, and shockingly, she hasn't tried to sell me anything yet. He's still a self-serious fuss and too literal by half, but void me if I don't enjoy having him around. It's the darndest thing. Just the other day, he discovered I'd borrowed one of his books without asking, and only lectured me for 2 minutes instead of the usual 10. I'm calling that progress. Well, he hasn't brought the hammer down upon us yet, so I suppose that's something. She's chosen delusion over reality. I really can't understand it. Takes a lot of metal to reject old beliefs. If I'm honest, never expected Asa had it in her to change for the better. I think she'd have a hell of a time passing the directorate psychological screening. Don't much care for all her talk about disembowelment, neither. Underneath that friendly old lady facade, Marisol's a killer. Best we not forget that. Won't lie. Still can't wrap my mind around her going all in for Auntie's choice after the way they treated her. She's a walking advertisement for corporate indoctrination. It's been a treat watching her break free from her corporate overlords. Auntie's choice has never had her back, or her best interests at heart. She's still got more loyalty to Auntie's choice than they have to her, but maybe we can help her see that one day. Though I will say, seeing Anais again seemed good for her. She's trying for peace these days, at least. Strange time to adopt pacifism. but I admire the effort. That anchorite business only worsened her penchant for violence. She could be cold before, but now I feel like she's icing us all out. Can't spell numbers without numb, I guess. Future's always changing, though. Who knows? Maybe Marisol will surprise us. In a good way, I mean. Not in a surprise attack kind of way. I hope. If you had told me an arbiter will one day choose spirit of the law over the letter, I'd have never believed you. Tristan sure is one of a kind, ain't he? Shame he's decided to embrace the Protectorate's tenets instead of finding his own. I really thought, for a moment there, he'd choose a different way. A better one. I still wouldn't play the odds on him choosing us over the Protectorate if it came right down to it, but I'd be happy to be proven wrong there. Disbanding the cult was another step in the right direction. Now, if we can just get her to stop walking around the cognito with her knife out, that'd be great. Power won't do anything good for her neither. Having a whole cult at your beck and call? That's heady stuff. Just hope she doesn't forget who her true friends are. Hopefully she can continue to be a, and I cannot believe I'm saying this, positive influence on the rest of the cult. It was just me and Val for so long. I kind of forgot what it was like having someone else I could rely on. It's been real nice having you at my side. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. This can be a thankless job sometimes. Didn't want you going a day longer without knowing how much you mean to me. And to Val, too. Sometimes I think about what would have happened if DeVries never brought down that satellite. If I hadn't found you in time, I wouldn't dream of it. Let's just pretend this conversation was about calibrations or something. Arbiters ain't like us. Facts matter less to them than personal judgments. Once the boulder's going, someone's getting crushed. I've seen it happen more than once. I'm flattered. But if there's any match to be made for a Directorate agent, you've just brought him onto our ship. Armed. Assuming he doesn't close a distance first. Don't let the luxuriant hair and good looks fool you. All right. Just don't say I didn't warn you. What's that saying? You are the company you keep? Yeah. Right up until he decides we need a little judging too. Good. I'd hate to get arbitrated when I wasn't looking. That optimism of yours never flags nor waves, does it? Maybe you're right to give him a chance. But I'll be keeping my lamps on him, just in case things go the other way. I'm guessing you didn't come here to talk about Rao, though. So what's on your mind? Glad you stopped by. I had something I wanted to ask you. Now that we're out of pulping distance, are you sure about recruiting that arbiter? That hammer's a fine piece of weaponry, sure enough. But how much can we trust the hand wielding it? Sorry, misspoke. I meant good manners. And blow my cover? I still had my mission. Couldn't risk it. Got something I need to get off my chest. Commander, could you spare a minute? You and me don't need to see eye to eye on everything. But I'd have expected us to find some common ground by now. I need to be able to trust you. I need to be sure you'll make the right call in the heat of the moment. And to be frank, I don't anymore. Right. You're a real lone canid. Except you're not. When you accepted your command, you became a part of this crew. No different from me and Val. You don't mean that. Makes the decision to leave an easy one, then. That's exactly the sort of thing I'm talking about. You're always firing from the hip. No regard for your target. You're a real piece of work, Commander. The kind best tossed out an airlock. Might be pointless to ask, but you look after Val. Her protocols won't allow her to leave you. Even for me. Anything happens to her, though, I'll be back. With bullets. That's the whole reason I'm here talking and not packing to go. My point's sailing right past you, isn't it? Don't know whether I should laugh or groan. Anyway, there's my piece. Don't say I didn't warn you. He'll get the same amount of respect he shows me and the rest of the crew. That's as much as I'll promise. Hope your back doesn't hurt from setting that bar on the floor there. Maybe I should. Is that what you want? There were a few moments, I'll admit, when I wasn't so sure you were up to the task, but you've really turned things around since we last spoke about it. Truth be told, I don't know her all that well. Reckon she's unmoored and grabbing for anything that feels like purpose. Same as the rest of us. At least that's what I would say if I was feeling charitable. Most days, I'd send her out the airlock if it came to a vote. At least she disbanded the cult. As is enough to manage without her cultist buddies loosed and causing havoc, too. Like most colonies. Good people being ground down from above. A lot of fancy talk from suits about streamlining and quarterly earnings while them on the line barely scrape by. I've got time. She was one of the forward agents who went ahead to assess just how bad Triangulum had gotten. We met while I was in hiding. And I helped her learn the lay of the land, as it were. Plan? I do enjoy your whimsy, Commander. I'm glad to hear it. Would have had some real grease on my face if you didn't. Guess that's one thing we have to thank the Protectorate for. Their escape pods are built to last. Not to get too maudlin, but I'm used to losing the people who mean the most to me. I just want you to know I'm not going to let that happen this time. Don't worry. I'm not planning on jumping in front of any bullets if it can be helped. It's a deal then. Might have been a questionable decade in there, but yeah, more or less. Nothing we haven't been able to handle yet. But note taken. Triangulum's known for churning out freighters, and shipbuilding ain't exactly known for being clean, safe work neither. Especially when corners get cut. Can't remember a time I didn't end the day all banged up, filthy, and smelling like I just crawled out of an exhaust port. It was hard work, sure. But there was something special about seeing one of them long haulers fire up her engines for the first time and knowing you had a hand in her construction. Funny thing was, I wasn't even an engineer back then. But I wanted to learn, so I paid attention. Too good of attention, as it turned out. You never forget your first time manually flushing a propulsion tank, do you? I was working late one evening and overheard something I shouldn't have. Some bigwigs exchanging inside information that would have cost the corporation a pretty bit. A day later, I was being accused of corporate espionage. Didn't want to bring any heat down on anyone else, so I went on the run before the first jackboot showed up at my door. My folks shuffled off the motor coil when I was little. Assembly line accident. Got passed between some distant relations for a few years. Oh, now, you'll have to tell me what those other things are sometime. Right. I'll remember that the next time I have the full weight of a dictatorial corporation bearing down on me. Then, the Earth Directorate showed up. They liberated Triangulum, pulling me and the rest of the colony out from under the corporate boot. Joining up after that just made sense. Not as worried as I was about what would happen if I was caught. Probably they would have spaced me and called it a day. I could ask you the same thing. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I'd gone back to my old life instead of becoming an agent. Stayed on Triangulum, become an engineer or something near to it. They tried their best. Weren't cruel or nothing, but life on Triangulum was tough. And they had their own families to worry about, you know? Yeah. Thoughts crossed my mind over the years, especially when it was just me and Val. I wish I spent more time with her when I had the chance. Protectorate has a way of casting a pall over that, too. You'll see. She was no nonsense. I thought her one of the smartest people I'd ever met. And while she could also be cutting, I felt like I only caught her edge when I deserved it. I liked her. And for some reason, she seemed to take a shine to me. But she wasn't around long. By the time I officially joined up, she'd already moved on to the next mission. Sure was. Kept hoping I might run into her during training. But now I know she was busy turning her coat here in Arcadia. How about this? We ever make it out of this system, I'll take you back to Triangulum, make the introductions myself. Deal? That's either hope or foolishness, Commander, and I can't tell which. Even if we survive the rift, 10 years is a long time to be gone. No word. They probably figure I'm dead. But void it all. Now you got me thinking about it. Oh yeah. They're going to get a real charge out of you. Not much dignity in having your limbs blown off. I knew joining up with the Earth Directorate wasn't going to be a life of low turbulence. But at least it'd have dignity and purpose to it. Could have maybe done with a smidge less excitement back on Horizon Point. Now you tell me. Got Inez moved into Helen's old quarters. I figure, if anyone's unlikely to be vexed by finding fossilized purpleberry crunch in their mattress, it's an Auntie's Choice trooper. Marisol settling nicely? Well, I assume so. I'm actually a little scared to ask. I'm all for giving folks a chance, but a cultist, Commander? Really? You think Helen would approve of us taking on a product pusher? She's like a character from the Zane and Buddy serials come to life. I mean, the end point? Tell me that don't just scream lead ne'er-do-well in a suspenseful two-parter. Sure, about as harmless as a failing air recycler. Sorry, that was blunt. But back to your initial question. Do I regret becoming an agent? Yeah, some days. But then there's days like the one when I found you, and, well, not much to regret there. Only thing I know for sure is my opinion today is colored by more than just the rosy tint of a low-run kid looking up at the stars. Life's not fair. But it keeps on. I just get tired of talking around it, you know? I'd say you've got cause enough yourself. 10 years lost ain't nothing to sniff at. Ain't that the truth? You buttering me up for a favor? I'll tell you right now, I'm not taking extra shifts cleaning the head. Well then, thanks. Just hope that good opinion of me holds. I have so many questions I want to ask right now, but I think I'd regret getting the answers. Oh, and thanks for what you said. Maybe I'm not as far away from where I started as I thought. Don't worry. I'm sure we can find you some gloves. Noted? Yeah, I sure came by that wisdom, honest. Heard and acknowledged, Commander. Yeah, suppose you're right. They'd have matched wits well enough. Good talk, Commander. Helpful. I like to think Helen would understand our need for allies, but maybe she'd resent being replaced? Hard to say which. Her voice sure has gotten quieter over the years. Now that sounds like something you'd read off a box top. It was less merger and more hostile takeover. What? Where's this coming from? I do something to get in your bad books? Well, now that my ticker's restarted, was there something you actually wanted? Apart from scaring the daylights out of me. Kicked off my own ship. Unbelievable. Flaw. I should have left you out there in space. Don't know how I'm going to break the news to Val. You were trying to come up with some middling explanation for inviting a psychopath on board our ship. Leaving all else aside, the problem is that we don't know this woman, and she's not giving us much cause to trust her. In fact, I say it's just the opposite. Well, if that's your only precondition, why don't we invite the Sovereign on board while we're at it? Or the Consul? Skills like a willingness to launch yourself into a rift, you mean? Yeah. Very useful. I'd argue that circumstances are a mite different there, given that we were both agents to start with. And I don't carry a knife around like all the world needs carving. Anyway, I've said my piece. All I'm asking is to be mindful. Don't let her lure you to any undisclosed locations alone. Take Val when you go out together, at the very least. Make light if you like, Commander, but I'll be watching for that knife of hers. Just looking out for you. Someone's got to. More important than discussing why we've invited a knife-wielding cultist on board? Fine. If you say so. All right, Commander. I'll play nice, but only because you asked. Maybe don't tell her I said that, though. I don't have all the details, but it sounds like Spacer's Choice tried to outmaneuver Auntie Cleo through quasi-legal means and got a hell of a lot more than they bargained for. And now her new brand's been turned into an invasion force bent on conquering the entire system. Funny how life works out. Harsh. But I get where you're coming from. You got it. Fine. Leave me to the worrying then. Huh? Oh, that was a while ago. Gotta know him a little better since then. I'll admit, I might have misjudged him. Best forget I said anything. I did. Still do. Before the invasion, at least, the Earth Directorate still needed someone to watch the colony, and I had 2 working lamps. Shit. Knew I was forgetting something. They're all yours if you want them. Must be the long hours. Just aside, we don't need to pretend those weren't mine. I had some trouble adjusting in the years after Horizon Point. I was in pain more times than I wasn't. Had trouble sleeping. The drinks helped. Until they didn't. Well, if this ain't mortifying as law, probably for the best. Turns out it's not exactly great for keeping your thoughts straight or food down. Or being a very good agent in general. For those first few years, every time I laid down and closed my eyes, I went back there. To Horizon Point. I'd swear I could feel the explosion again, the heat coming at me. Sometimes Zeb sat up with me. He told me I'd get better with time, and I did. The sedatives he was occasionally able to get his hands on didn't hurt neither. Of course she did. I'd wake suddenly in the middle of the night, startling at nothing. Sweating like I'd run a race. I will. Just so long as you promise not to take notes or nothing. I'm not some patient or specimen, Commander. Just so we're clear. I had a doctor friend early on. Sometimes he'd sit up with me. Told me I'd get better with time. The sedatives he occasionally got his hands on didn't hurt neither. I appreciate the concern, Commander, really, but there's no problem. You have my word. I'm good. Val tell you the same. Those bottles ain't half full, are they? Besides, I found other ways to cope. Healthier ones. I'm sleeping. It's not always restful. But at least it ain't like it was during those first few years after the station. I'm not sure anyone would consider that healthy. Most things worth doing ain't. Those are some nice vintages. Or will be, someday. Could even turn into collector's items, depending on how things shake out in Arcadia. Be a crying shame to just space them. When I'm not out there heroically saving the colony, I like to tinker around the ship or work on Val. I exercise. Been considering taking up cross-stitch. What do you think? Anyway, that was the past. I'm good now. I found other ways to cope. Healthier ones. Honestly, I'd forgotten I even stashed them in that safe until you mentioned it. I just wanted them somewhere out of sight, so I didn't lean on a bad habit. All right. Catch you around, Commander. That was a joke, but Always appreciate a vote of confidence. I'm going to tell Val you said that. It was her idea. I'll try to avoid poking out any eyes. Was there anything else you needed, Commander? Just remember you said that the next time I'm puttering around at odd hours making a racket. And thanks. Heard what you found in DeVries' terminal, back in Fairfield. Found it, huh? No. You know what? This one's on me. Shouldn't have left it lying about. Something like that. Yeah, well, I didn't have all the facts about Horizon Point until recently, did I? I'll be sure to do that, now that I know how much you enjoy prying into other people's affairs. Or gave it away, apart from it being in my private quarters. Truth is, I was getting ready to toss that old thing. Guess I just wanted to listen to it one last time. See if I missed anything other than her waxing about the greater good. I don't know. Some hint of who she really was? Some sign that she could turn into someone who'd betray her own team? Don't you think I know that? I'm not that deluded, Commander. I think I knew it even at the time, but it always felt like there was something personal about it. I wasn't. Get your head out of the heatsink, Commander. I don't even know what I was listening for. Some hint of who she really was? Some sign that she could turn into someone who betray her own team? Sounds stupid said out loud. Yeah, that's for the best. Knowing you, I'd be 80 before that happened. You know, I can't really remember what the others sounded like. Helen, Eric, Wade. I've tried recalling their voices, but there's just nothing. Static. Well, I don't understand why you're not more vexed about it. She massacred your team. She tried to kill you all these years. And the only recording I've managed to preserve is from the one person I'd rather forget. Doesn't that upset you? Doesn't it put a fire in your belly to catch her? I don't even know where or how to begin unpacking that. No. But she's run up a cosmic debt, and it's up to us to be sure she pays for it. That's not exactly what I meant. Now that, I have some sympathy for. That's what I keep telling myself. No, burn it, launch it out the airlock, do whatever you want with it. It means nothing to me now anyway. Kind of you to say, Commander. I hope it continues to be true. I should just keep everything bottled up, like you, right? Because that's worked out great. You know what? Do whatever you want with that recording. It means nothing to me now anyway. Maybe I am delusional. Fact is, it still meant something to me back then. A lot, actually. No one had ever told me I could be more. I didn't like feeling like I was adding to their burden, so I struck out on my own just as soon as I could. And well, you know how that turned out. No point missing something you're never getting back, though. I was on the run for, I don't even know how long. The days sort of bled into one another. I started losing hope of things ever changing for the better. Even after everything that's happened, I wouldn't change a thing. Not if it meant missing out on working with you. Whatever you need, Commander. Just name it. Futures filled me with dread for so long, but now, can't believe I'm actually starting to be excited about what might come after all this is done. What now? Make it quick. Well, if it ain't Arcadia's worst best hope. If it ain't my favorite commander. Just stopping by to chat, or running with you reminds me of my old days with Zeb. The good times, anyway. Zeb always wanted to bring change to Arcadia, like you and I are doing now, Commander. Feels good to see some of those dreams realized. Zeb always wanted to bring change to Arcadia, like you and I are doing now, Commander. Wish he were still here to see some of those dreams realized. And I thought Zeb could be a stubborn ass. Oh, Commander. Did notice you there. Can't wait, Commander. At least until we've talked with Zeb. No time for a chat right now. We ought to be focused on helping Audra. Hey, Commander. Can we talk? Promise it'll be quick. I wanted to apologize for the way I handled things after Greater Tranquility. I still feel my anger was justified, but I could have been more tactful. I wanted to thank you for hearing me out after everything that happened with DeVries. It meant a lot getting some of those feelings off my chest. I've also given some thought to what you said about vengeance darkening the soul. Think you might be right there. In which case, I owe you thanks as well. Seems you spared me as much as DeVries. To put it bluntly, I wish you had made a different call. But there's no changing it now. And keeping at each other's throats over it won't help anyone, so I'm letting it go. Ain't a doubt in my mind now that we made the right choice. Some folks benefit the world best by leaving it. It was right that it was us in the end, seeing her out. I wish she hadn't gone down the path she did, but hopefully we can avoid making the same mistakes. Be a better type of agent. You've convinced me it's possible. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. We can get back to the mission now. Not sure I go that far, but I'm definitely ready to leave the past in the past. For good, this time. I've also given some thought to what you said about not killing DeVries in cold blood. And you're right. We can't lose ourselves like she did. We've got to be better. I've also given some thought to what you said about letting DeVries go, and you're right. I let her define past and present for too long. She's not getting any more of my future. I've also given some thought to what you said about seeking peaceful resolutions. Don't know if that'll be possible at the end of all this, but I'll try and stay open to it. Only felt right to clear the air. I've learned the hard way what happens when you leave things to fester. Can't imagine what factored into your decision to hand Inez over at the bridge. But no point getting into it now, is there? She's gone, and we still have a mission to see to. Killing Marisol feels almost like ending a myth or legend. Wish her story had gone a different way. Marisol had a lot to offer this crew, Commander. Shame you couldn't see that. I knew we'd come into conflict with Tristan eventually. I knew it. Still, wish we could have avoided this outcome. I was just starting to warm to him, too. Was wondering when you finally see sense about keeping an arbiter around. Not saying Tristan was all bad, but his loyalty to the Protectorate was always going to be a problem. Can't say as I'm surprised we had to put down our resident cultists. If it hadn't been us, it had been a rift eventually. Woman had a death wish. We just granted it sooner. Not sure why you decided to cut Azza loose now and not before. Maybe I'm wrong, but seemed to me she was making real progress. Too little, too late, I guess. Ain't exactly sure why you let Inez go, but I'm gonna miss having someone else on the ship to talk to. Someone halfway sane. I mean, besides you, of course. Inez dead. And what do we have to show for it except more blood on our hands? I swear, this mission's getting worse every day. Can't believe we didn't do shit to help Inez. Kinda makes me wonder if you would have left me for dead after Horizon Point. Good thing I had more options than Inez. Figured that's what we were doing right now. I can't believe we left Paradise Island without at least checking in on Zeb. No, not everything. This wasn't. I'm sorry. Wasn't aware I wasn't allowed to have feelings. But don't worry. Won't trouble you with my private business moving forward. Yeah, you've made that abundantly clear. Here, I thought Val was a tough confidant. Fine. I read you loud and clear, Commander. Won't trouble you with my private business moving forward. I'll keep that in mind next time I'm fighting my sheets. I can't believe this. Hey, Commander. Could I have a word with you real quick? Right. Okay. Well, if we do as Milverstreet's asked and convert the populace to Auntie's choice, they're more likely to get the care they need and not be sentenced to death. Reviving Westport would anger some folks back in Fairfield, but there's no question the Vigilant could help us get into the Vox station a whole heck of a lot easier. Before you make a decision one way or the other, let's ask around. See what the residents have to say. No use trying to lift up those attached to the muck. Guess it's South then. I mean, she always struck me as so pragmatic. Real sensible-like. Never figured she'd go all in on predictions from a bunch of monks. I don't take issue with folks clinging to whatever keeps them afloat. Math, science, the grand architect, void, even capital. I know how most colonies run. But when those beliefs start to require hurting others, even killing them, that's worth questioning their virtue. That's different. Everything we've done so far has been for the mission. To save everyone. But to your point, holding someone who's wronged you accountable for their actions ain't an act of vengeance. Some might call it justice. You forget we're on the same side here, Commander? I'm not the only one DeVries wronged. She robbed you of 10 years of your life. Don't you want recompense for that? No. But it might keep her from stealing more years from someone else. Or doing worse still. Done some good, too. Even I can admit that not everyone following the plan is a fanatic. Used to think they were good people trying to do right by their beliefs. But if they put the idea in DeVries' head to leave us for dead, might be time I reassess that opinion. Right after we get answers. Glad we're of an accord. DeVries made her bed. Let's bury her in it. I plan to. Sure. But why act alone instead of reporting her concerns to the brass? What made her believe the Earth Directorate would dismiss the threat? Maybe. She seemed tore up about the choice after the fact. Guilty. Not sure if that makes me feel better or worse. I'm not in favor of one party over the other. It just worries me that we might be involving ourselves in something we have no business in. Milverstreet also promised us a way into the Vox. Oh, and a Ritzy hat. Man drives a hard bargain. If he can be trusted, and the faster we get satisfaction. But at what cost? Given the condition of this place, I'd assume no shortage of willing spirits eager for a way out. But then, reason's sometimes hard to come by with the Protectorate. Your heart's rightly placed, Commander, but past experience has taught me that sometimes helping causes more harm than good. That's all I'm getting at. No, Commander, you're right. It's just, That hasn't always worked out so well. For me, in the past, Void me if I understand any of this. DeVries sold us out for what? Because of a few equations? Some dots and lines on a graph? Good fucking law! Ain't cynical if it turns out true. Nice, plan-abiding folks don't kill for the betterment of their cause. Can't believe the Order plotted our murder. Because the truth matters. Because Augustine could have come clean to me at any point during the mission about what she was planning. And she didn't. DeVries was willing to sacrifice us. I have to know what for. But 10 years ago, I would have said the same about DeVries. Yeah. Guess the choice ain't much of a snarl to untangle, is it? Either we help Westport or undermine it to satisfy Auntie's ambitions for Fairfield. Might be better still we keep our noses out of the whole messy business. But it's up to you, Commander. Might I have a word, Commander? We need to talk about what just happened. Now, Commander. Got an old friend here on the island. The doctor who patched me up after Horizon Point. Ex-protectorate, a good man. Zebulon didn't exactly mince words about rescuing his friends. Bad enough we were too late to save the others, but you just ventilated Audra in that pen like a cysty pig. We're Earth Directorate agents, ain't we? Should have been so simple. Yet we didn't lift a finger to help. Why, Commander? At this rate, it's gonna take a miracle to upend Zebulon's poor opinion of me. You ain't much changed from Horizon Point. Still looking out for yourself and no one else. Generally speaking, murdering folks in cold blood ain't good practice either. Accidents when you jam a finger, not gunning down an unarmed prisoner. Starting to think I ought to have left you floating in the aether. At least out there, you couldn't hurt people. When Val cracked you out of that pod, I thought things would go back to the way they were. Now I'm wondering if either of us deserve our uniform. Don't cut my wires and tell me they're short. DeVries has plenty to answer for, and she will. But we had time. We were there at the Vox. Yeah, because I can always trust you to make the right call. Like you telling me to abandon Helen. How'd that work out again? Before or after I reminded you? And here I figured renouncing on our honor as agents at least warranted a conversation. Agree to disagree, Commander. A lot of ill's been done by folks too abashed to ask questions. That ain't gonna be me. Zeb's been out here fighting the good fight all this time on his lonesome. Where was I? Growing cobwebs on the Cognito? You wanna be my friend? Then maybe listen to me. That'd be a fair start. Putting an end to DeVries' machinations would be a good place to start. I don't follow. Helping out a friend won't interfere with our mission. Odd you think it would. Speak for yourself, Commander. I lived every minute of the past 10 years as an Earth Directorate agent. Hold on. DeVries is at fault for what happened at Horizon Point, not the Earth Directorate. After I recovered from Horizon Point, Zeb and I ran together for a spell, doing what we could to help folks in difficult spots, fighting protectorate tyranny in small ways. Too small for Zeb, as it turned out. He was unhappy before I showed up, and after, well, all my directorate talk fired him up even more. I know. Just hear me out, please. I had some bad years on my own. Now with you here being part of a team, this might sound a mite soppy, but I feel like I could be a proper agent again. I'll remember that the next time I get stranded in an autocratic colony after losing a few limbs. We worked hard, but the Protectorate's arbiters and sentinels worked harder. Wasn't like I didn't want to take things farther, hit the Protectorate where it hurt. But I still had my cover to think of too. I couldn't risk disrupting the mission. And these folks who get refreshed, they come out less themselves than before. More agreeable-like. That's if their mind ain't destroyed altogether. If it weren't for Zeb, I'd be in the ground. It's a debt I never properly repaid. Plus, I don't relish his last memory of me being a vanishing act. I owe him better. Much appreciated, Commander. Promise, I won't be making a habit of pulling skeletons out of my closet. Westport's on the east side of the island. I tracked Zeb to somewhere on its outskirts, but never got up the nerve to visit before now. We ought to start there. And since finding you, well, a lot feels possible now that didn't before. Tracked on the Westport a short time ago, but never got up the nerve to visit. Reckon we could drop by and pay him a visit. Brief one, of course. Law. How am I ever gonna explain this to Zebulon? But maybe you will point. Not like the Earth Directorate bothered helping either of us after Horizon Point. Still, don't feel good just quitting on trying. With respect, Commander, ain't some childish notion wanting to do the job I set myself toward, and to do it well. Not necessary, Val. We're done. For now. You're right. I should have tried contacting him sooner. Don't matter my reasons now. Outcomes already happened. I have wondered about that. But DeVries was one of the Directorate's best assets. Doubt she ever gave them any reason to question her loyalty. It ain't that simple, Commander. I owe the Directorate, Who knows where I've ended up if they hadn't swung around on my colony? Dead, most like. On your orders, Commander. Or maybe you're giving me too much. No, you're getting this all twisted. It's not about paying back a debt. It's about living for a purpose. Let's just leave it there for now. Reckon I need some space. Time to think. That's got me worried too. Wasn't always easy, and I can't argue I always did an exemplary job, but I was there. I did my duty. I continued the mission, so don't you go trying to claim otherwise. Given what we heard of Westport's troubles from Milver Street, I'd appreciate checking in on them. Briefly, of course. Tracked on the Westport a short time ago, but never got up the nerve to visit. Seeing as we're already here, I was hoping we might drop in. Briefly, of course. You remember that doctor I mentioned? One saved my life after Horizon Point? Well, I've heard he's here on the island, holed up somewhere on the outskirts of Westport. No, I mean, at least not since that time I tried mixing my own detergent, but I'm sure you don't want to hear about that. Legs bother me a bit, but no more than usual. Anyway, that's not the reason I'm asking to visit. That starts with writing accounts. This friend of mine, Zebulon Tran, I let him down. And I've been chewing on that live wire for a while. Too long, maybe. Likely not. We didn't exactly leave off in a good way. Traded some hard words over promises I made and ought not have. Don't much help to stay mired in it neither. I think this will help me move forward. Val tells me the same. Well, not in those exact words. I agree. But the problem with burning down a system is finding ways out for all the innocent folk trapped inside it. That wasn't the goal anyway. Just helping out where we could. Usually more like, long periods of rumination may impede one's health. This unit recommends Agent Abara develop a hobby. Has the agent considered soap making? All the more reason the Earth Directorate needed someone in the system keeping an eye on things. Luckily, Val and I survived. I'd feel better about that commendation if things hadn't turned out as they did. Back from your bloody undertaking? The how's not important, but you best get to your why and fast. With respect, Commander, I appreciate having a look for myself. Might be he just stepped out or there could be other clues to his whereabouts you missed. Funny. That's what my uncle said would happen if I spent too much time watching serials. Hey now, I'm not proud of it, but I don't think I was wrong to leave neither. Sometimes it's better to scrap the engine than suffer the fumes. Well, don't spare my feelings none. Like I said, I know we've got business elsewhere, but I wouldn't have asked if it wasn't important. Just, if you're going to be heading over to Westport, let me trail along, all right? Anyway, things weren't good. Zeb and I couldn't find the rhythm we had before. We were arguing every day. Eventually, cutting ties just seemed for the best. Clean like. Only later I learned Zeb hadn't given up the struggle like I assumed he would. He got to stay in mental refreshment for his trouble. That's the last I heard of him, till recent. Wouldn't have expected you to see it that way, given all your talk of trusting no one and looking out for myself. But maybe we've both done some growing since then. Often than not, our help only made targets of the folks whose lives we were trying to improve. Didn't matter what we did. Arcadia was still caught under the Protectorate's boot. I thought it'd be better for everyone if I just disappeared. Stop causing trouble, good or bad. Guess some of what you said way back when stuck. All that talk about putting people first. Figured that's what I was doing. Putting a stop to all the pain I was causing. Yeah, that's what I keep telling myself too. Figure you say as much, but I'll admit, after 10 years in this colony, it's getting harder to argue an opposing view. What about my duty to the people? Or did Horizon Point's destruction blow up your sense of good and right too? Amazing you could say that with a straight face knowing what uniform you wear. Yeah, maybe. Easier to say that on the other side of winning though, ain't it? I know I've been pushing to find DeVries, so this might seem a bit of a left turn. Avoid it. I'm just gonna ask. Resistance is a mite strong. It wasn't like he was part of some greater movement. He avoided speaking out of line, but he was already spinning up discontent by the time we met. Not sure he'd see it that way. Not anymore. I think I've given the wrong impression. For all his anger, it wasn't like Zeb was going around with a revolver, much as he might have wanted to. Don't pretend ignorance and virtue with me. Ain't got the patience for it right now. You think I care a whit for what you need right now? Won't be sticking around long enough to heat a second one anyway. I know about Zebulon. What I can't understand is why, Commander, why'd you go and do a thing like that into someone I considered a friend? We're through, you and me. I'm leaving. And be grateful I'm not taking you to account before I do. No. Her protocols prioritize your orders over mine. I'd have to gut her systems to even make it possible. And unlike you, I'm no butcher. Good. Part of me was hoping you'd give me cause. I'll gladly relieve you of your life as well as your command. You keep believing that. And what's going to distract me from the strong desire to put a bullet in that smug face of yours? At this point, I wouldn't believe you if you pointed to the sky and told me there was space up there. After what you let happen to Inez at the bridge, I should have known you were about as trustworthy as a faulty outlet. Still, I let myself hope you could be better. More fool me. So you're telling me you killed a man just to see what had happened? Law. If that ain't the most deranged thing I've ever heard, you're as bad as DeVries. No, Commander. I don't think we can. Don't promise me a good time. There'd be more blood if I was. This looks like the place. Law, I haven't felt this high-strung since Horizon Point. Just hope he's here. You think a bunch of soft words could make up for what you've done? Don't insult me. Not sure he'd still consider me such, but that's part and parcel of the reason I want to see him. I'm being serious here, Commander. Could you try doing the same? Much as I might love to jaw about that special interest of mine, this business with Zeb's gotta come first. Well, you weren't. If the Protectorate suspects someone of having an independent thought, they subject them to some kind of chemical brainwashing. I don't know how it affected Zeb, but it's high past time I found out. Amazing you could say that with a straight face given how you ended up here. Guess that lesson just won't take. Feels good, don't it? Helping folks like Zeb and Audra hit back against the Protectorate. Almost like being back with the Earth Directorate. Got time for a debrief, Commander? Pretty sure Val can give you something for that. The reflux, I mean. Yeah. Guess I am. First time in a long time I felt something kin to hope. No love lost between you and the Directorate these days, huh? Not hard to see why, of course. What are you talking about? Awful kind of you to consider my feelings in all of this. Hope I haven't been too much of a woebegone. And here I thought maybe it was because you cared about me. Shows what I know. My head's just fine. Might need to go looking for your heart, though. It's easy to focus on all that's going wrong, but wins ought to be celebrated, too. Damn, Commander. You can really turn the Niles on a good time, can't you? You think? There's such a thing as too much honesty. Yeah, I'm not even going to try and unpack that answer. No. Trust, I learned my lesson there. Got the burns to prove it. On Triangular might have suggested going for drinks somewhere they don't come with fuel, but here, I think we'll have to settle for patting each other on the back. I'll tell Val to hold the confetti. Wait, hold on. You can make balloon animals? Who, me? No. Definitely not. Definitely. No offense, Commander. That's a darn shame. And here I was hoping you might make me a canid. I must have missed that class during basic. I'll bank on sooner rather than later. Stolen intelligence spoils quickly. He'll probably want to act on whatever it is his friends gathered from the Vox. Shucks, Commander. I'm gonna get top-heavy you keep paying me compliments like that. Yeah, probably for the best. Maybe you've forgotten? But it was the Earth Director gave us both a place and purpose. I'm not willing to throw aside its ideals quite so quick-like. That's just the nature of the job we do. Wasn't like the risk came as a surprise. So what? It's better to go it alone? I had more than a sample of that, and I can't say I liked the flavor much. We don't know all the details about why she did what she did. Thought you didn't care about Zebulon and his ilk. Ain't sure what I'm supposed to take from this conversation, Commander, but I think we ought to end it here. And you know what else? Don't act like I can't think for myself. I know what brainwashing looks like. Been kicking around Arcadia for a lot longer than you. Would I have liked the Earth Director to blow into Arcadia en masse and put an end to all this nonsense? Sure would, of course. But there's gotta be a reason they haven't. Thanks again for going out of your way to help Zeb. Now I can focus on hunting down DeVries without feeling like I've got a rabid sprat in my back pocket. Get out of my sight. Ain't got anything more to say to you. Nothing polite, anyway. All that time in hibernation must have really scrambled your brain pan. What did you do? I hope you're not seriously considering helping the Protectorate here. I know these folks seem on the down and out, but we're as like to do more harm than good by siding with them. Hey, Commander, I need to ask you a favor. See that old storefront over there? Reckon we have time to check it out? You remember that doctor I mentioned? Once saved my life after Horizon Point? Fairly certain this is where he's holed up. The doctor who patched me up after Horizon Point, supposedly this is where he's holed up. He's ex-Protectorate, a good man. Nothing gets past you, does it? Whatever her plans, she started putting them in place while stationed undercover at the Vox Relay. Our next point of order ought to be getting in there. If only DeVries had shared in our good judgment, huh? Exactly. We get answers, then she gets a bullet. Everyone goes home happy. No, didn't even know DeVries was alive until she brought the satellite down. Until then, what kept me going was mostly training and stubbornness. And Val. Whatever name we put to it, it'll feel damn good all the same. I had my orders. I was to stay low. Couldn't let the Protectorate catch wind of an Earth Directorate agent in its midst. But Zeb, he kept pushing to take more extreme action. Can't imagine a sweeter dream than putting DeVries in the ground. Right after we get answers, of course. Swear I'm not just looking to do a little window shopping. We mostly help folks avoid getting into trouble over minor infractions. Or tried to anyway. We worked hard. But the Arbiters and Sentinels, well, they worked harder. Bad enough most of them were dead before we even got there. We could have still done something for Audra. It was what she wanted. Having some time to cogitate on it, I think she was right. Now, hopefully, the Protectorate won't see coming whatever Zeb's got planned next. I get her reasoning, but I'm glad things turned out the way they did. Wouldn't have felt right leaving that Sentinel to fly off after all she did, neither. Same. Part of me still wonders if we made the right call not sabotaging that ship, but guess it never hurts to play it safe. Anyway, it's easy to focus on all that's gone wrong, but wins ought to be celebrated too. We blew up a Protectorate vessel and killed a Sentinel. Anyway, it's easy to focus on all that's gone wrong, but we ought to celebrate our wins too. Better uniform than a prison jumpsuit. The Order of the Ascent is just another sect of the Order of Scientific Inquiry. The grand plan and all that used to be part of the Protectorate before their big falling out. Believe they can predict the future or some such, but nice plan-abiding folks don't kill for the betterment of their cause. I can't believe the Order plotted our murder. No. You didn't know her. Not like I did. Like I thought I did. When it results in a bunch of innocent folk getting maimed or murdered? Yeah, I call that pretty squarely evil. How can you be so even-tempered about this? I know you didn't know her like I did. Like I thought I did, but she betrayed us. She killed our friends, Commander. DeVries may have saved me on Triangulum, but I wasn't the only one looked up to her. Lots of the other recruits talked about her too, back at the academy. I mean, she wasn't a damn scientician. She said it herself. She didn't understand all of it, the math. So what was she thinking? Oh, yeah? And how many of those colleagues went and blew up a space station on account of it? We all thought she was the pinnacle of what an agent should be. Tough, smart, ain't a job she couldn't get done. And better and faster than everyone else. Inspired all of us. What? Say it. Feel better? You got that off your chest? Law, Commander. Reckon I can guess. Ain't the first time it's crossed my mind either. Your brain pan's empty if you think I haven't gone back through Horizon Point 1,000,000 times over, doing things differently. But we were talking about DeVries. It's embarrassing now. How much worship we all put on her name. You put a tool in my hand, I would have built monuments to her. Reckon so. Somewhat embarrassing how much worship we all put on her name. You put a tool in my hand, I would have built monuments to her. Damn it! I never wanted to talk about this. I wanted to just leave it alone. Told myself, no point in dredging up the past. Should have known it wouldn't rest. Figured my own career could be just that. Doing for others what she'd done for me. Never imagined I'd actually get to work with her. Me, some nobody from Triangulum. And then she betrayed us. Tried telling myself it was an accident, but now we've got the cold, hard proof it wasn't. Law only knows why she trusted the Order's numbers. Hold on. We haven't watched all her mission logs yet. Seems like there's more from this terminal to view, Commander. Reckon there's got to be someone on the island who can help us with that. Let's keep asking around. Friendly-like. I don't get it, Commander. After going to all the trouble to help Audra, you couldn't be bothered to make one tiny trek back to Zeb to give him the cipher. You that lazy? Oh, yeah? Well, I'm not some rookie you can push around. Not anymore. Void me. This thing could have landed right on Zeb. We got damn lucky. A short-range transmission just came in from Zeb. Sounded urgent. After Paradise Island, Dad, I'll get another chance like this to close the rift between Zeb and me. I want to go and help him, Commander. I need to. He did say he'd reach out to us again if he needed help. Reckon we should take it as a compliment. Zeb doesn't trust easy. Anyway, I'd really like to go. If there's time. Much obliged. The sooner we can rendezvous with the tomb, the better. Got the sense that whatever's going down, it's happening now. You practice that line in front of the mirror? Just think about it. I'll stay mission ready should you change your mind. Hey, Commander, need to talk to you about something. Only take a minute. It's the Protectorate, Commander. What they say publicly and what is actually true ain't usually the same. Zeb left out the mission parameters. Probably worried his message might be intercepted. Not unfounded, given the Protectorate presence on Praetor. You're sure in fine form today, Commander. By all accounts, this tomb's not exactly some cobwebbed crypt. But I guess we'll have to go and see it for ourselves, won't we? What's one more, then? He's requesting we meet him at the tomb of the Matriarch, here on Praetor. It's where the Matriarch and First Sovereign are buried, supposedly. Don't even know where to start with everything that happened in there. Can't believe I wasted so many years. Guns down, waiting on rescue from the Earth Directorate. Never again. At least we were able to talk Zeb out of his plan to release everything we uncovered. Reckon the information about the matriarch and the skip drive will stir up some fervor, but Zeb was right. The people deserve to know the truth. I'm disappointed. Full stop. Zeb didn't exactly give us a choice, but it's gonna keep me up at night, wondering where all that intel might end up. To what end it'll be used. Well, most of it. I'm glad we were able to leave the Earth Director's name off the record. I'm all for sowing chaos in the Protectorate, but that kind of information is liable to do more harm than good in the wrong hands. I just feel so stupid. Zeb used us, DeVries used us. The Earth Director has been lying to everyone. Isn't there a single honest person in this voided galaxy? Law knows the Earth Directorate ain't perfect, but leaving a whole colony to suffer tyranny, all for its own benefit? That flies in the face of everything it stands for. I expect backroom dealing from unregulated corporations, not from the only agency keeping them in check. The Earth Directorate should be better than that. Might be you're right, but is that the best we can aspire to? Evil that's a little more justified than not? You're telling me you wouldn't have done things differently, or at least tried to. Right. And those stories don't tend to end well for the folks pressing blindly ahead, do they? Permission to speak candid, Commander. Well, most of it. The Earth Director is lucky we persuaded Zeb to leave its name out of all of this. I'd be lying if I said that hadn't crossed my mind as well. I'm not sure there's any amount of good that can wipe out the bad. Not for the Earth Directorate, or the ones who serve in its name. I mean, leaving a whole colony to suffer under tyranny all for its own benefit? That flies in the face of everything the Earth Directorate stands for. I keep coming back to that same thought. Sorry. Guess I'm still working through it all, especially the Earth Directorate's part in all of this. I understand his desperation. What I don't understand is the Earth Directorate's part in Arcadia's existence. Ever agreeing to such a cruel bargain in the first place? The Protector deserves every bad thing coming to it. It might be they're not the only ones. I know, and I appreciate that, Commander. You're not the problem. I don't want to believe that. But I can't deny. The evidence is mounting. That wasn't meant as a call-out. Not of you, anyway. I can always count on you to make my point for me. Maybe. But funny how it's not usually the honest ones making that argument. I flat out refused to see it before, but maybe you've been right about the Earth Directorate this whole time. They're no more immune to corruption than anyone else with power. Yeah. Suppose we've moved well past formalities. Permission granted, Agent Abara. Why, thank you, Commander. Besides, look at all we've accomplished without its resources or support. Arcadia only stands a chance because of us, not the Earth Directorate. Deep down, I'm still convinced the galaxy is better with the Earth Directorate in it, flawed as it is. But what happened with Arcadia can never be allowed to happen again. Something has to change within the Directorate. And I think we're best positioned to see that reformation through. I can't rightly blame you for that sentiment. I only hope I can transform the Earth Directorate back into an agency you'd be proud to join me in. One day. Right. Even if the form it takes is that of the agency itself. All said, I appreciate you giving me the space to work through this. Sort of feels like the future's opening back up after a long time closed. How do you figure? Funny you say that, Commander, when it's been you all along who's been something of a guiding star. Still, I can't rightly blame you for the sentiment. Though I do hope I can help transform the Earth Directorate into an agency you'd be proud to remain a part of. Likewise, Commander. Figured that for a given. Right behind you, Commander. Strange as it sounds, this whole experience with Zeb has helped me finally understand the position Augustine was in, back at Horizon Point. I'm not saying what she did was forgivable, but I find myself wondering what would have happened if she'd lived. Isn't that the damnedest thing? It's the damnedest thing. In spite of everything, I find myself relieved we spared her. Augustine still owes a debt to us, and the rest of the galaxy. Maybe she pays it all someday, and maybe she doesn't. Either way, you were right to give her the chance. You really think we can make a lick of difference when it comes to an organization that large? Just the pair of us? Not sure why you're suddenly reversing polarity on the Earth Directorate now, after everything we've learned, but void it. I'm still in this thing if you are. Let's be the best damn agents this galaxy has ever seen. Ain't easy having to decide between your allies and protecting untold innocence. We're already steeped in blood, like it or not. Thanks for helping me finally shed the rose-tinted goggles, Commander. Only regret it took so long. Might be we're better off on our own. Answering to no one. Achieving the ends, and damn the means. That's a point I hadn't considered. It is certain to explain why no one else has spoken up. A flap that catches too much drag often gets snapped off. You loaned me faith when I needed it. Guess it's my turn to do the same. This ain't over yet. Not by a long haul. Time will decide that one, I think. Only thing I know for sure is that I hate the Earth Directorate for putting us in this spot in the first place. I let anger lead me there. I'm not proud of it. But I'm not trying to pass blame or point fingers here. Same could be said for Zeb. Law, even for us. And intentions do matter. If I accidentally trip you, that's a lot different than aiming my foot at your shins, ain't it? Sometimes it feels like I don't know what I should be doing. I'm just cutting wires and hoping for the best. Wouldn't dream of it. Not least of all because I value the good limbs I have left. Anyway, you take my point. Defect from the Earth Directorate? I think she'd have done what she believed was the right thing. Up to the last. Whether that ultimately led her to redemption or perdition, who can say? I'm not saying that. Well, I don't know. Maybe I ought to call it quits. Oh, this brain pan of mine can bundle a whole pack of worries at once, don't you doubt it. But I hear you. You make it sound easy, but I just don't think I can walk away like that. It wouldn't sit right with me. Not without at least trying to fix what's wrong. Damn me if you're not right. Believe me, Commander, I understand the sentiment, even if I don't entirely share it. Suppose it's all a moot point now. Next time, just spit in my eye if you want to insult me. Might be we're better off on our own then. Answering to no one. Achieving the ends, and damn the means. You say that like I've never been alone before. I can't rightly blame you for that sentiment. Though I do hope I can help transform the Earth Directorate into an agency you'd be proud to remain a part of. That's some shoddy translation software you've got in your head. Provided the rift don't dismantle us all before then. Yeah. Suppose we will. If you taught me anything, it's that kindness ain't ever the wrong choice. Reckon time will decide the heroes from villains in this tale, but it's gonna be hard to forgive the Earth Directorate for arranging the stage like this in the first place. We'll just have to agree to disagree there. You know what I mean, Commander. No chance of that. Val's got a fearsome extermination protocol that'll make you glad to walk on two legs. I've given so much to the Earth Directorate already, and hardly felt a return. Should I just keep on? Push through? Been accused of that a time or two. I know you're right. Deep down, I'm still convinced the galaxy is better with the Earth Directorate in it, flawed as it is. Maybe I can make it better. Won't know until I try. And here I was hoping you'd unlock the secrets of the universe for me. Shucks. Foolish as it might be, I'm still convinced the galaxy is better with the Earth Directorate in it, flawed as it is. Maybe I can make it better. Won't know until I try. All right. I take your meaning, Commander. Guess I could stand to chin up a bit. Let's get back to it before I say more and embarrass myself outright. You're right. But that's a pill that'll be a lot easier for folks to swallow in the future, once we've proven the agency's changed for the better. Did you need me for something? Commander. Caught me cogitating. Favorite agent, huh? High praise with all that competition in the rankings. I don't mind, really. Up to you. Oh, I'll take a deferral on that one. Kind of you to offer, I think. How will I ever recover? Much as I enjoyed that witty repartee, might I kindly suggest going and finding some sand to pound? I have good days and bad, pain-wise. Today's the latter. Hold on, Commander. We can't take off before helping out Zeb's people at the Vox. Agreed. The sooner the better. Just don't head out without me when you're ready. This is important to me. And not to be cheeky, but I did save your life. This seems like the bare minimum you could do to repay me. Before we rev engines, I'd really like to check on Zeb still. It won't take long. Not to belabor the point, but Zeb's not in the habit of staying in one place over long. We miss him here, and there's no telling when I'll be able to catch him next. If ever. Before we take off from Paradise Island, I was kinda hoping to grab a quick word. We leave, and they're all but guaranteed a trip to mental refreshment. Please, just give it some more thought before you fire up the astrogator, all right? Everything's fine. Really. I'm just resting up. Running about causes all sorts of aches and pains. Some realer than others. Don't worry, though. I'll be ready when you need me. Ironically, it's sitting or standing still that hurts most. All the fluids sort of pool. Guessing I'm not telling you anything you don't already know, though. I just need a little downtime. Running about causes all sorts of aches and pains, as you can imagine. Some realer than others. Don't worry, though. I'll be ready when you need me. Ironically, it's sitting or standing still that hurts most. All the fluids sort of pool. Reality's not always pretty. Sorry if it raises your gorge. My stump shrinker here helps. Reduces swelling and gets the blood back to the heart when I'm not moving. What's a... Nope, never mind. I don't want to know. I hope you don't see me as a patient, Commander. I don't need a soft touch, neither. Been managing just fine on my own for a long time. My stump shrinker? Yeah. Reduces swelling and gets the blood back to the heart when I'm not moving. I know it's a lot of things about you, Commander. Hard not to. Why do I get the feeling you're only asking because I'm sitting here with my leg off? To tell the truth, I'm feeling a bit wrung out. But it ain't anything new in particular. No, why would you? Got good enough at hiding it. Even Val can't always tell. Yeah, suppose we do have that in common. Spoken like someone who longs to be stuffed back into an escape pod and jettisoned into space. Me too. Yeah, I bet. Maybe. I haven't come first when anyone's listened in a long while. Maybe ever. Oh, shit. Fuck. It's okay. I'm all right. Just phantom pangs. Beg pardon for the fright. My stump shrinker? Yeah, it's not bad at reducing swelling, helping with circulation and such. I have too much self-preservation for it. Won't say it's the most comfortable thing to wear, but it gets the job done. Take my stump shrinker here. Reduces swelling, gets the blood back to the heart when I'm not moving. Wait, Commander. Before you head off, how are you faring? Well, Zeb got it for me. Done my best to keep it in good shape. No idea where I'd get another one if I lost it. I was thinking to myself just now, here you are checking in on me, but you must be feeling some kind of way about all of this, too. I don't think I should answer that. Val's program for first aid and triage. Long-term physical therapeutical assistance is a little outside her purview. Though she does try, bless her motors. Anyway, before you head off, mind if I ask how you're faring? Not exactly convincing. I see why you didn't go into cereals. Yeah, I was kind of picking that up. Good. I'm glad to hear it. But you don't need to play the stoic if it ain't true. Waking up 10 years from the time you knew in a hostile colony at war. And with apocalypse on the horizon? Figured that for a given. I won't pry any further, but if you ever need to talk, or if you have a sudden, burning desire to learn about, I don't know, fuselage maintenance, I'll be here. Wasn't meaning to imply different. You're our commander for a reason. Couldn't stop me if you tried. Horizon Point threw a mighty long shadow. In a lot of ways, you and I both are still under it. But I believe one day we'll see the sun again. Wonder why that is. Val's old, in automatic years, so she requires a lot of routine maintenance to prevent her hardware and systems from deteriorating further. Has Val been on you about leaving bloody boot prints everywhere on the ship? Or forgetting to turn off the galley light when you're not there? With respect, Commander, my body's my business. Besides, none of this is new. If there was an actual problem, I'd have let you know. Sure can. Didn't hear one. Get out of my quarters. You know your automex. All of the above, more or less. Yep, gotta fill the hours with something, right? Most times I find working on Val relaxing, actually. Meditative. It's nice being able to identify a problem and just fix it. If that's a serious question, answer's no. She's got plenty of safeguards in place that would prevent her from harming any members of the crew, you included. Replace Val? I'd sooner give up another limb. It's effort, sure, but so's fixing dinner. I do it because it needs doing, unfortunately. Nothing. I was just gonna say that most times I find working on Val relaxing, meditative. It's nice being able to identify a problem and just fix it. Oh, must have just been something I overheard said by Val. No remorse for straining the ship's power reserves, I see. Must be Tristan, then. Some kind of psychological warfare, maybe. Must be my imagination, then. It's gotta be Inez, then. I swear, she's as bad as Helen. Can't imagine Marisol would be so untidy. Maybe she's trying to send some kind of message. I appreciate that. But in truth, ain't much you could have done, really. Not early on, anyway. Took some time for me to regain my balance and learn how to shift with the prosthetic. Won't lie, it was discouraging at first. Felt like I'd never be at home in my body again. Me too. I'll add I'm not awarding either of them any medals in bedside manner, but probably I needed them pushing me more than any hand-holding. I also thought, at least in those first few years, that you might be out there somewhere too. That maybe, against all odds, you survived. Kept me going, that hope. I told you about Zeb and I fighting the good fight against the Protectorate. It was mostly that, trying to help people where I could. Oh, and I continued following orders to watch the colony, sent reports back. Requested extraction on a number of occasions. Got denied each time. That's putting it lightly. It was a lesson in patience, that's for sure. You think so? I've wondered myself. At the time, I mostly felt like they hung me out to dry, but could be you're right. Damn! You know, I plumb forgot to add the sweetener. Oh, just the usual. Flickering occipiters, gimbal misalignment, effector failures, voice box trembles, recurring errors in logic assembly. Nope, not at all. Well, apart from all of Val's normal issues. But that's why I'm here working and not kicking up my feet. Not to me. Look, I haven't gotten my wires crossed. I know she's all coils and no feeling. But haven't you ever grown attached to something that can't love you back? Well, to each their own then. Cute of you to assume Az is not always eavesdropping. That one's a lurker, I'm telling you. I'm gonna be honest, that's a little sad, Commander. I mean, I get it, but still. Talk about a lonely way to live. Anyway, I find working on Val relaxing, actually. Meditative. It's nice being able to identify a problem and just fix it. That's not exactly what I meant, but sure. Fine. Not sure where to even begin with that. Not to worry. I'll make sure she's firing on all cylinders. Or, well, most. Val saved my life after Horizon Point. And she's been saving my life every day since. Partly, I'm just glad to return the favor. Even if I am just putting off the inevitable. That's it exactly. Everything else turns into kind of a low static hum. Easier to ignore. Which is precisely why I take care of the maintenance around these parts. Anyway, I've taken up enough of your time yammering. But thanks for stopping by. Wait, Commander. We're not just gonna leave without helping out Audra and Zeb, are we? Dislike is a nice spin. Don't think I haven't seen how you get around anything with servos. Really? Would have figured she'd have grown on you by now. Too much to do. Besides, I like staying busy. Beats the alternative. I'd trust that suggestion more if I knew it was coming from a place of genuine care. But I suspect it ain't. I was just thinking about making some tweaks to Val. Hoping it'll help. You would say that. Believe me, I've tried. Hold on, Commander. We still need to get this cipher back to Zeb before leaving. He'll assume the worst if we don't show. Maybe go to ground. What's there to think about? We have the cipher, Zeb needs it. Seems pretty obvious to me what needs doing. Thought that might have been the case. Well, no time like the present. Let's hoof it back to Westport. We can talk more later if you want. Got some maintenance I prefer performing without an audience. Need some time on my own for a bit, Commander. Damn it! She had to have known she couldn't take us. What was she thinking? We should have done more to help Inez, Commander. She told us what would have happened. Marisol certainly went out with a fight. Expected nothing less from the end point. Damn it, Tristan. He ought to have known picking a fight with us was a death sentence. And this is why we don't bring cultists onto the team. I can see the serial tagline now. Big hammer, bigger heart. Guess folks can change for the better. One day, you're gonna realize the mistake you're making here. But I expect by then you'll be steeped in too much blood to reverse course. Think I liked you better when you were cracking skulls. But congratulations on growing a conscience, I guess. I can also help you craft items in a pinch when we're out together. Most won't even explode on you. What? Are your legs painted on, Commander? Can't get around on your own power? You'll have to pardon Val, Commander. She gets confused sometimes. Logic unit can't always keep up. I keep tinkering with her assembly, but no dice. Mighty kind of you to say. Just wish I could do more. But I suppose age comes for us all in the end. I already tried that. Oh, I'm impressed by the suggestion. You know your stuff, Commander. I swear, Commander. Sometimes I can't tell whether you're having me over or not. I hope you're not implying what I think you are. Or we're gonna have to have us some words. Never scored myself the clearance to learn it for fact. But best as I can tell, it's a complex EVA involving a drone and an agent shot up with enough adrenal to wake the dead. Another cultist communications device by the looks of it. If anyone would know about this device, it's Azza. We ought to come back here with her. Time to watch whatever it was the messenger had for us. Reckon we've got our work cut out for us? Let's head to Golden Ridge.